Welcome to Kranky Live Sports Talk, where passion meets action.
Hey sports fans, I am Kranky, and this is the Kranky Live Sports Talk, the podcast where we dive deep into the hottest topics, the biggest games, and the most controversial moments in sports.
Whether it's football, basketball, track and field, cricket, or soccer, we've got you covered with expert analysis, insider interviews, and unfiltered opinions.
Join me as I chat with the biggest names in sports, get exclusive insights and stories you won't hear anywhere else.
Kranky Live Sports Talk is where you can hear the real talk, the hard-hitting questions, and the hottest takes.
So, if you're a true sports fanatic, you don't want to miss out? Subscribe now to the Kranky Live Sports Talk on YouTube and hit that bell icon to never miss an episode.
Kranky Live Sports Talk, where sports come alive. Subscribe today.
Good evening, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me out there in YouTube land. Bless up. This is Kranky, and this is Kranky's Weekend Sports Recap. And that title is obviously self-explanatory, people. That title is self-explanatory. Hope everybody had a bless up, Rich Toy. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Well, not everyone had a good weekend, given some of the football results. If you're a football aficionado or a football fan, that is I should say soccer fan, because I'm in the US. I should say soccer fan. If you're a football fan, I hope your team won this weekend. My team are the Jets and the Giants. They don't win anything. They have been awful for a few years. Well, not a few, a number of years now. When last the Giants won, was it Manning won the last Super Bowl for us? And I'm also a Jets fan, even though for some people that's kind of strange that you're a fan of both. And as you come in, people hit the like button. I have a number of things to talk about this evening. A number of sports. We'll talk about some EPL. We'll talk about some little bit of NFL. We'll talk about some NBA. We're going to talk some Jamaica football. And as we start talking about Jamaica football, this is important. You know what? Before I jump into Jamaica football, I'm going to talk about some other things that's happening in the world. First of all, I'm going to drop my links. I need people to subscribe to, I have both, I just put out there, both links, but I need to subscribe to my my Balance View channel. I don't see that. Yeah. I need to subscribe to my Balance View channel, people. You know what? Let me just do Balance View separately. I need to subscribe to my Balance View channel, people. I am going to spend a lot more time on Balance View than I do on Kranky Live, to be honest. And it's because, as I've been saying before, a couple of things. Bless up, Alric. Thanks for being here. One is that my Kranky Live channel is going too slow for my liking, to be honest. Just to be transparent. So I'm going to spend less time on it because I don't like to invest in something that's not working. And two, I have a lot more things I want to talk about versus just sports. So even though I'm not giving up on either of my channels, my Balance View or my Kranky Live, if you notice my background today is different, don't say Kranky Live. This is just the weekend sports recap background. Tell me if you like the background, by the way. I just put together a bunch of different things on there. It's not all the best coordinated. It doesn't link the best, but I figured it captured a lot of sports I'm going to cover with some other stuff. So tell me if you like the background, people. And as you come in, just do the normal thing. Hit the like button when you come in. Hit the like button when you come in, people. I'd appreciate it. Couple of things. First, I want to touch upon is what's most important to me at this point. It looks busy. It's meant to be busy. It's a busy weekend. That's part of the whole concept. It's meant to be busy. A lot of stuff. Whether it's Jamaica football, track and field, NFL, Premier League, NBA, the whole works. It's meant to be busy. Can't even see the NBA thing. See the NBA thing there? Can't even see it. Come here, block it. It's meant to be busy. Rich Toy. It's meant to be busy. That was part of the goal. But first I want to talk about is Michael Antonio, actually. As you know, over the weekend, Mikel Antonio made an accident. I think they say it was about 12:30. Well, they got notification about 12:30 in the night over the weekend, but he was in a real bad car accident. I won't put up the video. The car, frankly, if you see how the car looks and it's a Ferrari, you know these cars are well built and supposed to be built with safety, but they're sports cars. They're built for driving. It really looked ugly, people, really, really ugly. So we are lucky that he survived, but what I just read, and I'll probably just read something here. I pulled up from the Guardian, talks about this. It says, Mikel Antonio is expected to be out for at least a year after the West Ham striker underwent an operation on his broken leg, sustained a horrific car accident on Saturday afternoon. I think they should say Saturday night. It wasn't afternoon. Well, it was afternoon, actually. Yeah. It was 12:30 p.m. It wasn't a.m. Antonio was airlifted to the hospital after crashing his Ferrari in Epping. Faces a long recovery after having surgery yesterday. It remains unclear if the 34-year-old injuries will force him to retire from football, but it is almost certain that Antonio will not play again this season. And there are fears that the best case scenario is at least a year of rehabilitation. A West Ham spokesman said West Ham can confirm Mikel Antonio has undergone surgery on a lower limb fracture following a road traffic accident. Mikel will continue to be monitored in hospital over the coming days. And obviously, they have given him well wishes. And I think they're also coordinating with the JFF. So a couple of things. One is we hope Mikel recovers quickly, recovers well, get back the full use of all his limbs, and wish him and his family best of luck, actually. So the end result of that is one is that he will not be playing for West Ham tomorrow. So they lose a player. But also he won't be playing, bless up before the game, he won't be playing for Jamaica, maybe ever again, actually. So Jamaica will have to go out and go find a new striker. Now, I was told today that there's a player on Jamaica's radar. You know, quickly we switch people. Just 2 days later, even though we're doing this anyway, so and it's not anything against Antonio, but you know, you always are looking for players. Agree, Rich Toy. So Keenan Davis. You guys know Keenan Davis? Keenan Davis was at Villa. He's now at Udinese. And I think he's a player that some people like his game. He's playing at Udinese, not scoring a ton of goals. I think he has about, what he has, 2 in 14. And I can pull up his stats, actually. But he's a good player. I know when he was at Villa, and so I won't spend a lot of time on this. You can't even really read this. I don't know why it's so bad. But this Keenan Davis stats, he's played. So here's what it says. There are 14 games that Udinese played this year. 6 starts, 8 subs, 2 goals, 1 assist. Right? It's a good player. Played for Villa before. He's about 26 years old. So he's somebody who's been looked at as a possible person to come into the team. That would have been regardless of Antonio's situation, right? So I just got this info today. So hopefully, if he's good enough, you bring him in, he can add value. But Jamaica will need some forwards. Jamaica needs forwards anyway, regardless. So Jamaica needs forwards anyway, regardless of what happened with Antonio. They need forwards. But look like Jamaica will have to go out and search for forwards. The only forwards, well, we have forwards. We have Romario Williams. We have Nicholson, but I'm not sure they conjure up the best confidence, actually. Bless up, Drew Ross. Hey, Drew Ross, your team didn't do too well this weekend. And you fired your technical director, who you just paid a lot of money to get him from Newcastle. You guys are a mess. And you want to compete with Arsenal, even though I think we need a manager. Well, Dr. Dan, we're better than Manu. Dr. Dan, you and Drew Ross, you guys need to look in the mirror first before you start saying anything about anybody's team, okay? Please look in the mirror, people. Please look in the mirror. Drew Ross and Dr. Dan, look in the mirror first, then we can talk. 433 presser, same thing. And look in the mirror. before they come and talk to Arsenal fans. Now, I will admit that my manager can game manage his way to a paper bag, but he's a very good manager on the training field. He knows talent. Well, except center forwards. He didn't know how to pick center forwards. He picked Jesus and he picked Havertz, and none of them, two of them to make one. London is not blue. Well, yeah. It's blue because you beat Spurs. Hey, people. We'll get to that. We're not jump ahead. We want to touch on other things first before I get to that. But I did want to touch the Keenan Davis thing, and I did want to touch Mikel Antonio. And I'm going to bring up news people as it comes, because it's a sports channel and it's roundup. But if there's pertinent news I think we should think about and watch, then we should talk about it. So in Syria, I think the rebels there have expunged. I'm using the word expunge Assad, who's been running that place into the ground. Now, you know when they had the Arab Spring, where a whole bunch of countries got affected, Morocco, Libya, Egypt. Assad was one of those who survived. It's Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood took over, and then the West didn't like it because the West like to control everybody. So the Muslim Brotherhood took over, and they said they want democracy, and it was a democratic election, and then they got rid of the Muslim Brotherhood, and the military took over and got rid of them. So what the West does actually is, if your form of government doesn't satisfy, if your government doesn't support them, they get rid of you, regardless of what kind of government you have, democratic or socialist or communism, they don't care. So if you're a strong man and you kill your people and the West support, and you support the West, they support you. Hate to say it, but it's true. So we see what's happening in Syria. I'm gonna do some stuff on that at some point in January. I'm gonna wait things map out first. And then the last but not least in terms of news is Jay-Z has been accused of raping a 13-year-old girl back in a number of years ago. What he and Diddy, everybody's suing people for money now. Here's my one problem with that. I mean, these things happened so long ago. How do you have evidence to substantiate a lot of this? I mean, you can have some evidence, but why are you coming forward now? Did you get payoff before or something? I don't understand some of these things, people. I don't understand how society works. You're coming forward now after all these years? Now, Jay-Z has been very, very quiet. So anybody who's affiliated with P. Diddy going in hiding. So this they do like, what's his name that went to Bali? Run DMC's brother, what's his name? Can't remember his name. I said, let's say go to Bali and run away. They won't allow P. Diddy to even get bail. Eventually, a lot of those rappers from the old days who probably did a lot of stuff, they're going to be pursued. So, good evening, Real Baller. Thanks for joining. People, as you come in, hit the like button. Hit the like button. Russell Simmons, Drew Ross, yes. I keep having senior moments every single day. Russell Simmons run go Bali, go hide, because he's been accused just like how P. Diddy was, and Jay-Z now being accused. So we'll see how that works out. Because, people get canceled. Thanks, S Technic. People get canceled. Now, I won't spend a lot of time on those, because I said before, people, please hit the like button on my Balanced View channel. Seriously, please hit the like button. Because I'm going to spend less time on Kranky Live. I'm going to spend more time on Balanced View. So I'm hoping to get my Balanced View subscribers up to 1,000 as quickly as possible. No, Assad is hiding out in Russia. He ain't coming out in New York. We have enough illegal immigrants. We don't need any more. We don't need no more illegal. See, I'm the mayor who's on the indictment. Hey, people, the one thing about America, people, America not afraid for indictment, See, if you're Jamaica, you can do some things. And if you're a politician, you can get away with it. And people in Jamaica, we talk about, hey, Kranky, we are talking about your disrespect. If you come to Jamaica, we are boxed with this. Nobody at Jamaica and a politician are going to jail. You see the illicit thing them up with the Prime Minister and my God, cause go say them ratify him thing when him can't ratify him. Man have about 28 bank, about 30 something bank account, not 28. 28 bank account them have, but then on top of the companies when him have responsibility for those bank accounts. Man have how much bank account and how much things and people don't know where come. Allegedly. Some things are allegedly, but some things are in the report. So I don't understand those things, people. Your country will not develop and grow and prosper and advance if you don't prosecute those who are doing things inappropriately. Now, I say the Prime Minister doing things inappropriately, so I'm going to tell nobody say so. But there are people in Jamaica we know who have done things which are not appropriate, and none of them now go to jail. Look at the person who was the JC, from back what 2019, and the case that can't finalize it. These things are ridiculous, people. Ridiculous. No accountability. Drew Ross is right. No accountability. And people go vote for them people. You can't vote for them people. Can't vote for them. They should not be running anything except them hosts. But anyway, we won't spend a ton of time on that. So here's my top 5 today. You know, I have this top 5 segment that I do all the time. People, the number of likes, it's slow. A slow night tonight, people. A slow night, slow night. And Rich Toy, I spell Kranky wrong enough. When I spell Kranky, we don't see, because that means I'm really cranky. It's a play on words with a K. People hit the like button. My likes should exceed those who are in the chat, people. I'm desperate for likes tonight. You know, so not enough people on there. So here's my top 5. And there's a criteria for the top 5. Here's the top 5, people. Give me the top 5. So it's a different top 5 now. But touch on this. It's very good to get away inappropriate things in the US if your last name starts with T and ends with P. Well, that's the only one, because a lot of people go to jail. Look at Menendez in New Jersey, the senator. Look at Adams now being charged. A lot of people go to jail. A lot. Wola Trenton politician them. Tons of people get charged in the US and get sent to jail. But if you're Trump, you're excluded. You are the Messiah. You're some people's God, it appears. So here's the top 5, people. Name me the top 5 high schools in Jamaica with the best balance of sports and academics. And repeat that. The top 5 high schools in Jamaica with the best balance of sports and academic. And I'll wait for your answer. I ain't gonna rush this one. I like that one there. Come up with that one there all by myself. So top 5. Drew Ross. No, we need other than Casey. We need other than Casey. Top 5 schools in Jamaica. Best balance of sports and academics. Let me see that, people. I want to see the list you guys have. Hard one? No, Red Baller. We're not here to come get no easy thing, Red Baller. We're not getting no easy thing. It's technique. We said 5. What you guys saying? 1. 5, we said 5. Top 5 schools that have the best balance of sports and academic. So that when you think about academics, you would think about how well the kids do in their exams, both what do we call it nowadays? What do we call it? GCSE, what do we call it? Whatever we call it. And when you go 6th form, those kids we're talking about, right? Who send people on to university, all of that from an academic standpoint. And from sports, it can't be just play sports. You win championships. So you win Manning Cup, you win the Costa Cup, you do well at champs, right? You do well in cricket. Like, say like Stats do well in cricket or GSC do well in football. That same concept. So Drew Ross says, KSC, GSC, Glenmore, Campion, Wolmers. Not a bad list. Campion must just, in my time, Campion didn't know for sports, only academics. But not a bad list. Not a bad list. KC, Arden, St. George's, Campion, Wolmers. So why up here in Kingston School now up there? Yeah, up there for Rich Toy. Why up here Kingston School? Yeah. KC, Arden, St. George's. We don't know Arden has no big sports school. But I would agree with the Wolmers, Campion, KC. Well, we'll see. Ricardo says KC, George's, Wolmers, JC, Stets. That's a good, people. It's a good listener. I think there's some schools which are just natural, actually, to be in there. All 5 are Kingston School now so far now. But keep going. It's a KC, George's, Wolmers, JC, Stets. Stets known for academics? We don't know Stets, academics. We don't know Stets for academics, Ricardo. I not agree with Stets. People, you agree that Stets is a very good academic institution. I'm not saying it's a bad academic institution, but is it really top 5? I don't think so. Yeah, Toffee Rudy, because they were known for academics more than known for for football. But you're right, Tuffy Rudy. In things have changed over the years and changed dramatically. So come people, give me some more schools. 30-something people in that chat. Only about 4 or 5 get 30. You must can come up with, think about it. Top 5 schools for the one school that's the consistent learner is KC there. And Tuffy say with the admiral to the list. Not Tuffy, not bad Tuffy, not bad at all. Good addition, Tuffy. Me have my list, I know. Me have 7, but me narrow it down to 5. A 7 me pull out. Me struggle with 2, me narrow it down to 5. Come people. Give me the 5 schools. Best balance of academics and athletics. Let me know what you have. And if you're not Jamaican, then you would probably know all the schools. So some of that before the game wouldn't have that list. But he may. You know all about Jamaica. Monroe, Glenmore, KC, Nitro, C-Bar, really. Now C-Bar has produced some very bright people, but come Nitro, man. You must be covered C-Bar. A partial. Me not telling you a partial. Partial. Because C-Bar had academics problem at one point. And the principal had some big thing. Nah, man, C-Bar can't list. Me not agree with that one. Man. Me not gonna agree with that one. I'm not gonna agree with it. C-Bar and list Nitro. I don't mind the other 4, but me can't agree with C-Bar. People agree that C-Bar should be in the list. Me not think so. Me have some people from C-Bar. They might give me a hard time, and they've done well academically, but let's see C-Bar in that list. All right, Rich Toy, I hear you. I get it, Rich Toy. Collins said Monroe, Diego, George's Kiss. Hey, a big list this, you know. Big list that, you know. Big list. I can wait 2 more minutes and I'm gonna give my list. 2 more people give my list. 2 more and I will give my list, people. So let me get some more. Let me get a few more. All right, Nitro. That's much better, Nitro. Much better. Come with your Prime Minister come from Jago, you know. Your Prime Minister come from Jago. No, people, there's no accurate list, right? Because something can be subjective. How about Little Jamaica, Erasmus, Tilden, James Miles, and Wingate? I thought all those were failed schools. Yeah, I put Erasmus twice. Up here, field school, them the real baller. You forget about So Sure. Because So Sure win the girls basketball title must every year for the last 4 years, you know. So, but that number changed over time to real baller. What do you mean open my eyes, Devon? What am I missing? I catch him go? I thought that Jago him go. I stand corrected then. Why am I thinking the Prime Minister went to Jago? In people? Who's that catching him go? So he must have been happy that catch him were in the Manning Cup final, but then they ran into KC. So we know how that works. All right, so here's my list, people. In no set order, so if you don't want to get no beaten. This is my 5. George's, Wolmer's, Monroe, Jago, and KC. That's my 5. In terms of balance of sports. I did struggle with Campion, but I think Campion have done enough in sports to warrant being the top 5. Devon said KC, Monroe, JC, Wolmer's, Cornwall. No, Cornwall fall down the academic list big time, Devon, over the years. Fall down big time. Yeah, fall down big time. I had JC up there now. JC, I struggle with JC. I'm struggle with Campion. I think Campion should be in there. I'm struggling with JC. But I just put George a little bit ahead of JC. No, JC does better between chums and football and academically. You know, Juras, I hear what you're saying with Monroe. So maybe you know what? Replace Monroe with JC. Me agree with Juras. I struggle with Monroe actually. Replace Monroe with Juras. Swimming is still a sport. Where? We swim at sea. We go beach, go swim. Rich tie with that. I know swimming, rich tie, go beach, go swim. So Juras is right. Juras. I'm gonna replace. I did struggle with JC. I'm gonna replace. No, I don't think Campion does enough in sports to be there, Rich Toy. I think academically, yeah, they're probably top actually. In fact, if you look at the academic list for the last 40-something years, Campion is probably always in the top 5. Always in the top 5. So, but in sports, they've gotten better, but now. Ray Balla says CC and Glenmore has to be listed. I think CC. Glenmore, yeah, I think CC. I think CC. Bless up float management. I don't see CC in that list. I used to look at the academic list, you know. So you have like Immaculate, Mobile High, Mannings. In fact, none of the top sports schools were ever at the top, actually. Because I said, as Juras, Monroe dropped down, so it was always those schools, Immaculate, Mobile High, Campion, all those schools. It wasn't, KC was always there, but they were, say, top 15, sometimes top 10, but they're not number one. But I know KC produced a lot of people academically, so I'm focused on it. But anyway, next topic, people. So we're going to skip to sports. But I thought that top 5 would be a different type of top 5 that incorporates both sports and also brings in the academics, because I'm a big person who believes that we do a poor job when it comes to academics. So the first sport is cricket. We're going to do them in terms of their level of importance. So we do cricket first. So West Indies, who drew the test series with Bangladesh 1-1, won the first ODI. Now, when I saw the score, yeah, there's accomplished Jamaican go everywhere, real baller. And nobody go to Calabar too. And I know some of them. That's why I know I'm going to get beaten. But Calabar will never be on my list. Every school published, I have very accomplished Jamaicans go to them school. Every one of them. But Calabar is not. And CC can't make my list. So West Indies won the first ODI by 5 wickets. When I was watching the score, Bangladesh made 294. They were 27 for 2, and I thought it was over. But then Rutherford made a century, make 86, and Greaves make 41, so them come back and win. So, and they hadn't beaten Bangladesh in ODIs for a while. So good run by West Indies. We're not spending too much time on cricket, but we only talk about West Indies. We're not talking about England that play New Zealand and all that. Let's skip that. And then we can go to NBA, and I won't spend a lot of time on NBA either because it's very early in the season, except to say my Knicks are trying very hard, but they lost last night to Detroit. Not a good look. If you look at the NBA standing, the shocking team, not even surprising team, the shocking team is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Good team. We're good last year, but I'm amazed how well they're doing. Seriously. Simply amazed how well they're doing. They are what? If they continue at this pace, which is going to be almost impossible for them to do, but if they continue at this pace, they will win 70 games. So they are what? 20. Let's go to Cleveland. They're 21-3, right? And it's 82 games. So if you extrapolate that, say 3 times what? 63, 9. Yeah, they'll win 70 games. But I don't think they're going to win 70 games. I think Boston is still the best team in the NBA, even though they've lost 5 games. My Knicks are good, but they got to learn to play defense. The offense is good, but as you hear my song said, the defense is very weak. This marry right very well here. But as you can see from this list, right now the Nets actually, who are tanking, well, look like they want to tank, are in the playoff slot because the last 2 teams that makes the last 4 teams through 10, so 7 through 10 will have a playoff in the first round to get to the actual playoff that matters. So right now, Indiana, Brooklyn, Milwaukee are in that list, along with Chicago. But I think Detroit will go up there. They have a decent team, especially Cunningham playing the point for them. But Cleveland is playing brilliant basketball. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully my Knicks can get it all together. Robinson comes back and we're in a good spot. And out west, I think Oklahoma is the best team. They have 5 losses, and the rest of the teams are all over the place, including the Lakers were in 10 spot. So JJ Redick, who's coaching the Lakers, people thought were a magician earlier, ain't that much of a magician. He's all right. By the way, people, it's not a long show tonight. It's a shorter show. Yeah, so it should be an interesting NBA season, people. I'm looking forward to it. My Knicks will improve as time progresses. As time progresses, my Knicks will continue to improve. Now, I will admit on the NFL, I haven't spent a lot of time in the NFL because my Giants suck. And you can't say that. Let me change this, people. I got to move this. When I try to do things from a certain monitor, it doesn't come out very well. So let me do it this way. So I'm going through these things quickly. When I do a lot of EPL, actually. That's what most of my interest. Hopefully that's where your interest lies also. But I gotta do these regular sports because I'm gonna do more of these going forward. So you can see in the NFL, in the East, the Bills in the playoffs already look really good. Win 7 in a row. Probably one of the hottest, if not the hottest team, because even though the Chiefs only have 1 loss, they're winning every game by 1 score. So, but they have the best quarterback in football. So we'll see what happens. And my Jets. I have 2 teams, Jets and Giants, because they're both New York teams. My Jets, who have this quarterback supposed to save us, is pulling us down in the mud. If you go in the North, the Steelers, who are better than I thought they were, with Russell Wilson at quarterback, who people had gave up on because he went from Seattle to Denver. He's playing well, and they're leading the Ravens with Jackson, who I thought would be better this year. Had some tough losses, but I think the Ravens will make the playoff and going to be the most dangerous team in the playoff. They got to get their defense together. And then out south, the Texans, they're 8-5. The Colts are 6-7. This division, not sure they're going to do much here. That's the AFC. And then if you go to the NFC, Eagles are playing well. So are the Commanders. They had a rookie quarterback playing well, Daniels. Seahawks are also playing decent, but that's how anybody can win that division. Lions are playing brilliantly. They beat Green Bay the other day, even though the Packers, I thought, could have won that game. And then you have the Buccaneers leading. But anybody can also win this division. Drew Russell is not convincing Russell. Russell playing well. Russell is playing well. I'm not going to knock him. He's playing well. So that's the NFL. We're not spending a ton of time in the NFL. And then we now go to what we'll talk about more than norm. And we'll do some Jamaica football too. Is the EPL. Now, today was an interesting day in the EPL. Very, very interesting day. And so was yesterday also. We only have 1 game left for this window, and that's the West Ham game. And we talked about before, Antonio, who's injured, will not be in that game. But this is the EPL games over the weekend. So you can see. Let's go from Saturday. Villa won. Bailey played about 60-something minutes. Suppose they have a hamstring injury. And I heard someone on the channel today saying people are always critical of Bailey, including, well, I didn't mention my name, but I'm sure I'm in that list. Here's my philosophy, people. When players do well, we give them flowers. When they don't do well, we criticize them. That's how sports are. So let's not complain about player getting criticized. And trust me, we ain't doing nothing that Villa is not doing. I'm sure the Villa's criticism is 10 times worse than what we're doing. No doubt in my mind. So people should not take that personal. Nothing wrong with criticizing people. So Villa won, beat Southampton 1-0. Brentford won. Brentford just scoring a bunch of goals. We have to play them in this holiday season. Wissa is very good, very quick. See, you need dynamic forwards in the people. That's what Arsenal doesn't have. Right? And Bruno, the right winger, is good. So they have a dynamic forward line, and we just don't. Before the game is saying, Kranky live. Everyone affords to respect Antonio's situation entirely justified, but this is an opportunity to highlight the important part in compassion discussion about athletes. Yeah, no, I agree with that, actually. Look, I've always said this. When you're an athlete, Your family and yourself comes first, because the career of an athlete is very, very short. And you have to do what's best for you, right? You can go out and blow your knee out. You can meet an accident, something can happen, and then people move on. See, I'm talking about next forward up. People move on. People not staying there and they're pontificating about you. They're gonna move on. They may empathize. They may give their condolences if someone passed away. They may sympathize too, not just empathy, but life moves on, right? So the hope is, bless up Brian Burke. The hope is that Mikael will recover quickly and be able to continue his career, even though at 34 it's going to be harder. Right? It's going to be harder. So I agree with you before the game. Rita Baller says, them going for Billy Scout, his weekly salary is a problem. They paid him because he had a brilliant season last season. You get paid based on how you perform. And in sports, a lot of times, his timing of his season and how he performed was a real good timing. He played well in a contract year and he got paid. But he hasn't scored a goal all season, people. Right? He hasn't scored a goal all season. He hasn't been playing well. And he's going to get beaten like you've never seen before. Trust me. If he continues to play this way, it will not be pretty. No matter what anyone says, it will not be pretty. And people have to understand that. That's how it is in England. That's how it is anywhere, everywhere, actually. That's how it is everywhere. And he has to understand that. His handlers have to understand that. And what he has to do is perform. So let's go to the rest of this. So Brentford played well, beat Newcastle 4-2. Good game, but that team is, you see how Jamaica have a term called Wasi. They just at home, they're like unbeatable. They just score goals for fun. And good goals too, not just scoring because defense make mistakes. They create goals. Right? And I'll be surprised if Wissa and their right winger is still there come next summer, actually, because some of the bigger teams are going to come in for them. I'm not sure why Man U wouldn't go in for a play like those, actually. They go for some of the players from some of the leagues who are not acclimated to the Premier League and therefore don't perform well. Man City drew again. Man City drew again, people. Rough season for Man City. Rough season. They have no excuse. At least Arsenal have, they did lose Rodri. De Bruyne has been injured. De Bruyne has a problem with Pep, actually. I think there's a problem there. And I think that's maybe why he benched him the game before this last one. But De Bruyne shows class when he's playing. But the City's creating chances, just not taking them. Creating a lot of chances, unlike Arsenal. Man U, Nottingham Forest. Man U's an interesting team. I think they have a decent set of players, They just don't have any outstanding players. The one player who they had who had that potential and has regressed is Rashford. By the way, people, this is supposed to be a call-in show, So when we're done with this, you can call the phone. If you don't call the phone, I close on the show. I have a calling on it. It's a call-in show. I'm just going through this quickly, and you can call in. If you don't call in, I close it down. I jot the number too. So if you don't call in, I close it down. You know what? I should just put the number up there just in case. So by the time you call in time, see everyone at the bottom, you can call in, people. I'm not going to stay and do all the talking tonight. Let me just go through this list. And then, so Man U lost. Tough game. Forest played well. I think Man U defense gave a couple of goals, which, especially the one where Onana, the Morgan Gibbs White goal, where, I don't know what happened to Onana. It looked like the ball swerved, but as a keeper, you got to do better. And then we had Arsenal Fulham this morning. My manager, no talent. So Arsenal, Arteta knows talent. He's overall a good manager, but he cannot game manage his way out of a paper bag. Like, his game management is awful. It's not bad. It's not poor. It's awful. And all my colleague friends in England who want to tell me about how great he is and all this other nonsense. The man won one FA Cup in 5 years. Like, how much time are we going to give him? I'm not saying fire him, but how much time before you start asking questions? Like, can this man win anything? He won an FA Cup with not his team in the first year. He now has a brilliant team. Can't win nothing. We can't even win a cup. Man U fired their coach and he won 2 cups. FA Cup and the League Cup. We ain't win nothing. And he got quality players. He don't know how to use his players. Keep playing players who are not producing. Now, even though Odegaard is a brilliant player, he ain't scoring. So then the scoring pressure go on Saka. Because Havertz to me should not be a forward, should not be in the Arsenal starting team. And all these people give me a hard time about Havertz, you criticize him too much because I think I know talent. He's a good player. He's not worth 68 million pounds, and he should not be starting for Arsenal. We need a dynamic forward, people. You look at Wissa running. And now Wissa is not the best forward. Putting ball in the top corner, running defense, scrambling, have to play deep. We have none of that. It's just annoying watching Arsenal play and watch Arteta on the sideline. Just don't know what he's doing when game day come. Good coach, good on the training field. He's not good at games or picking his team. And why you have Sterling sitting there and not giving him any game, I don't know. I mean, let him show us that he can't produce, and then you don't play him. He was going to play one game when we got the red card, because you keep playing Trossard to me, who's overrated, frankly. He's a good goal scorer, but he's a bench player. He should come off the bench. He should not be starting. Playing Partey at right back, people. You people don't realize in those games, people. I'm going to go on my Arsenal tangent here. You play Partey at right back. You know what you lose? The person in the middle of the park who can pass the ball between the line from deep, who can run the show, because Rice cannot do that. Rice is a very good player, cover a lot of ground, brilliant on set pieces. He can't pass the ball forward, people. Can't make no 25-yard pass, can't make no 15-yard pass. He make 10-yard passes. That's not what he does. And you keep playing him in the 6, or you put Georgian in the 6 and you push him out, Partey at right back. I don't care. Put somebody at right back. Put Tierney on the left back position, play Timber on the right, put Partey in the middle, and put Rice in the 8. I'll put Marina in the 8. Stop. Jesus, it's not that hard. Then you're going to create nothing. And Partey should have scored that header today, by the way. And how Martinelli's offside on that goal is... Martinelli reminds me of... Well, he's not as bad. So if you think about people with their brain doesn't work when they're playing football games, but they have talent, number one is Traore. At least the people I'm covering now. No footballing brain, Traore. Zero. He was awful today, by the way. And then there's a tie between Martinelli and Cephas, people who I cover. Two of them just make bad. Even though I thought Martinelli was good today. Just make bad decisions, not a bad decision, not a bad decision. Bless up Owen. Of course he would Brian Burke. Everybody knows that. Arteta does that nonsense. Anyone there should get more playing time. Sterling should get more playing time. When Martinelli was out, when Odegaard was out, the man played Trossard in the 10. Trossard is lost in the 10. And he played Trossard in the 10. Like, who does that? And then people are like, well, Kranky, you're a YouTuber, you know football. Yeah, well, I could coach Arsenal game day better than Arteta. I wouldn't say preparing them, but I can't be any worse than Arteta. Sorry, can't be. All you're doing is picking the team, and you ain't doing much on the side. You pick the team, and you give them some instructions. That's it. You pick the team, and you make changes. Him can't pick the team well, and can't make changes well. He's an awful game manager. Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button. Awful game manager. Awful. Anyway, enough rant about Arsenal. People say we're out of the title race. We were never in the title race after we got those 3 red cards. Liverpool didn't play today and they gained points. It's amazing. And so Ipswich and Bournemouth looking good, people. Playing well. Not a Spanish coach, doing well. Playing really well. Ipswich should have won that game, but gave up 2 late goals. And Bournemouth did that against who? Did it against Everton too. Scored 2 or 3 goals late. So they're not going to give up until the game's over. Brighton was leading Leicester 2-0, got cute because they have to play possession football and give the game away. And then the Spurs-Tottenham game, people, and I did a watch along on that game. Now I'll say this, which is this. If you're Postecoglou, at some point when you're managing, he's another poor game manager, by the way. You have to be practical, right? So if I'm playing Chelsea and I'm up 2-0, I'm going to manage how I play defensively. Especially I have 2 wounded animals in my defense. Both of whom, one got taken out of the game today because he pulled up and the other one was struggling later in the game. You got to make pit, because Chelsea is open, people, open. They don't play defense great either. They have a good team, good offensive team. Defensively, they're a challenge. But I see Maresca made a brilliant change at halftime when he took out Lavia. Even though I know Lavia got a hit. Put Caicedo where he's supposed to be playing and put Gusto at right back, which is the right move to make. So today, you're up 2-0 in the game. Chelsea looked vulnerable, even though it was 2 mistakes by Cucurella, who slipped twice. Looked like he had on Bailey's shoes. I think he had on Bailey's shoes today. Slip twice cost 2 goals. These people punish you people. He made mistakes. But it was amazing to me to see how open Spurs were. They could have got 7 or 8 today. Palmer missed a sitter, and that tackle by Basuma. If it's me, he's not playing the next 3-4 games, people. That tackle was one of the most nonsensical tackling I've ever seen. Like, the man is in the box. He's not going to go anywhere except down the line. Just force him down the line. You come in all gung-ho, tackle, kick him over. The game is at 2-1, in the 60-something minute. You're still in the game. In fact, you're leading the game. You have the game, still even though you're getting pressure. After that penalty, they just crumbled. And Chelsea was still open because they still came back and scored. They could have scored 2 when Son, he may have been an offside play. I think the player run towards the ball, had a go through and goal, and Son had slowed down significantly. And they still scored a consolation goal. So it's crazy. So both tackles were nonsensical. Yeah, but I'm talking about the first one. Because after the first one, they lost the game, right? The second one, and it was disappointing that both Basuma and Sarr are the ones coming to those tackle. The Sarr one is just, the Basuma one was mad, and the Sarr one was brain drain, just lame brain, whatever you want to call it. Like you can't be a professional footballer and doing things like that. It's just stupid. I mean, Palmer is running away from the goal, and he pushed him over in the box, and Anthony Taylor just waiting to call a penalty. It makes no sense, people. So, yeah. Calling numbers run across the screen, Javari. Now, before you call in people, you have 5 minutes. We're not doing 15 minutes call. You have 5 minutes. We'll do that on the radio. Like when I call him to Oral Tracy's show. But when you call them show, you feel under pressure, you feel like you're cut off in a minute. That's why I'll probably stop calling to them show. I can't take the pressure. I mean, like if you give me 5 comfortable minutes at top, I rush my talk. So I'm probably going to call into those shows less because I can't take the rush. You can't even talk for 7-8 minutes. If you say 5, man, the claim ready to cut you off. And if it's especially in the like direction of travel of the argument, just want to cut you off. So 5 minutes, people. You're calling in 5 minutes, but you have to call in because if you don't call in, I close on the show by 9 o'clock. If you call in, we keep it open. So the last point is on that game is that it is very disappointing that very, very disappointing that Tottenham couldn't hold out today. And Chelsea looking good. My top 4 this year was Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Man City. So I'm not shocked. And for all those people who are killing Chelsea about the owner not know what he's doing, and he's an idiot, and he's this, and he's that. Let me say this, people. There are people in a business, they call it venture capitalists, right? These are people who take pools of money in, and sometimes their own money, and they go out and buy companies. They help the companies, either they give the companies leadership or they help them invest. And then what they do is they will then sell the company. They call it exit strategy. So they'll go out and buy a company. A lot of these companies you see where venture capitalists fund them, right? If you see like something like ChatGPT, I'm sure Chat is underfunded. Even though Microsoft and those companies invest in Chat, there's always some venture capitalists, a bunch of people who have private money who invest in these companies. They go out and buy companies. They sell them on 5 years later, and they make big returns, right? Todd Bowley is a venture capitalist, people. They ain't no idiots. They have a strategy. They have a plan. They have metrics. And I'm sure he worked out, even though on paper it looks stupid. Initially, it didn't look good. And that's why I give people a long-term contract. They work out how Europe operate. They work out how the Premier League operate. They work out the numbers in terms of return on their investment because they're private equity investors. And they don't know how to buy assets like these and hold them for long, even though FSG is also similar private equity. And they'll make a ton of money off them, right? It's a mini money business. So when you win in football, you get more commercial deals. You get more sponsors. You sell more shirts. As you see, Man City went from nothing to, even though they spent a lot of money initially, to something. So don't be, as I said before, and I said this in our program today, the only person out here in the UK, one of the few who says, you know what? They probably know what they're doing, even though he also got pressure and he started waffling, is Simon Jordan on Talk Sports, who, by the way, I'm sure worked with a lot of venture capitalists because Simon was big in business and actually probably had to deal with those guys. And these are brilliant guys. So Todd Bowley is probably show people how it works, which is I buy them young. I will have some misses in it because of venture capital work. I only need, in a venture capital business, if you buy 10 companies, you invest in 10 companies, if 2 hits, you're set for life. Right? They buy a lot of players. They have 40-something players. If 25 work out well, they're good. They buy them young. They probably overpay for some people like Fernandez and Caicedo, but they buy them young. They lock them up for a long term. So these players want to leave now, and they have 7-8 year contracts. Where they gonna go? They ain't going nowhere unless Chelsea want to sell them. So it's looking good now, and they got a good manager. And they didn't wait around to fire manager. So they got a good manager. So they're in a good slot. And they're only 4 points out of first place, even though Liverpool have a game in hand. And you got to think about it. Beginning of the season, they didn't start off too well. They lost to Man City. More recently, lost to Liverpool. But it's a really good group. Good evening. Who am I speaking to?
This is Jordan.
Jordan, how you doing?
I'm a G, man.
How are you doing? What you want to say, Jordan? Is that Jordan like Michael Jordan? Is that Michael Jordan?
They can say that, yes.
Okay. All right, Michael Jordan, go ahead.
It really cut my always follow up the show, you know. And when you go up on the rest of call of them, look at them tunnel and thing, and always you know.
Okay. I appreciate that.
It just come like man, come like me alone is a CFAS fans, you know.
Oh, you're a CFAS fan. Okay. So why are you a CFAS fan?
Why am I a CFAS? You know, I never know the kid until now, though. But watch him, you know when they can know things, you know, when spiritually they can feel something and know something.
Right.
They know that the kid special. You see him goal and score today?
No, I haven't seen nothing. I see when him scored the other day. Him score again today?
Look on him goal and score today. I don't want nobody tell me about CFAS again. Look on the goal and you kid score to Kranky.
Wait. Want to find hey, Mr. People. Oh no, can't start me if me right about CFAS, you know. Right. Oh no, can't take me no people. Me I tell you no. Me know see me right anyway. Me not nobody tell me right. Come watch CFAS play. I'm gonna watch him last few games. But people, me say, oh no, can't take me. Someone who beat me like Claudine, no can't take me now. Come in and start pressure now.
Going forward, I see CFAS or Vinicius Junior, man. Going forward, man.
Yeah. I have CFAS in my team.
Yeah, man. Take it in, man.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that. You know most start though? People must start at CFAS score regularly, must start capture our CFAS goal them and show them. Now I just say how many goals have CFAS score for Jamaica? Because not give no game. When look at half a game on our game. When not give no game, no portion of game.
Anytime CFAS get him first goal for Jamaica, I'm not gonna stop score. Just wait.
But he was involved in Gray's goal. Gray didn't do nothing for that goal.
Yeah. I can follow him on Instagram and that see him post up on Instagram.
Oh, so he has okay. Rich Toy saying he can't play football. His IQ is too low. You don't need no IQ to play football. Most footballers don't know. Like, you know, I'm not gonna say that. No, I say most footballers no IQ, but nobody's not no IQ. Go ahead, Jordan.
Record it and put it up with them sick class, world class. So you take down the Mr. Kranky, you want to look on the goal.
Okay.
I'm there upon the
I'm trying to find it. I'm not see it. I'm trying to find it, but I don't see it.
Where up on Instagram?
No, I'm not on Instagram. I am on YouTube. You know what? Let me go on Instagram.
Yeah, man, go up on him page, something there.
You know what? I had Instagram up. Let me do this again. I had Instagram up, but it was my page. I do have an Instagram page, so let me see Instagram. I'm gonna try to find the people. Mr. People, I say if me right about CFAS. I know I'm right about CFAS. And if me right none, me know me right about CFAS. Me not have to ask them thing them. I figure I know talent. I keep telling people what didn't feel with CFAS, you know. Man just need Ronaldo CFAS. Okay.
Other thing the bomb to me can see talent too, you know?
Yeah, not here. I don't see any. I'm on his page. I don't see anything. I see follow.
We no work with the crowd. We no work with the crowd, say.
No. We don't work with crowd. We know what talent we see. But Jad, we not see nothing on him page. Me just go by him page. Me just see he has a picture of football. Me see tag. Maybe I'm in the wrong place. I just see no post yet. I'm on the right CFAS. Let me go back and check.
When you wrong one of the pan man, hold on there.
No, but it's one that has people sitting down watching football.
Ronaldo _ CFAS?
Yes. Ronaldo's good.
Maybe you just follow it?
I haven't started following him yet. I haven't started following him. You know what?
Follow it.
Okay, so follow. Does it take a while to register it?
Yeah.
So maybe I won't be able to get it tonight, but I'm glad you mentioned that to me. Yeah, I already follow people that much about me. I'll follow him.
I can maybe screen record. I don't know if it's gonna show good if my screen record it and send it by your WhatsApp.
Yeah, man. Screen record and send it to me because me not stop show it. Screen record and send it to me. Screen record and send it to me. Me just play it. I don't see it though. I see his page. I'm following him. He has about 776 following. No, 469 followers. It says. And 700 people are following him, but I don't see anything on here.
How much? 700 people are following him?
Yeah. 776, and he's following. No, 469 following him. He's following 776.
That wrong, man. 30,600 came up.
So I'm the wrong place. Maybe he has more than one.
Yeah. Sometimes some other people we put up. I know him good have one man, but sometimes some other people we put up.
Oh, somebody probably is imitating or emulating him.
Yeah, look for the one with the blue tick. I see the blue tick of him, Ronaldo Cephas, underscroll. Ronaldo with 2 underscroll Cephas.
Ronaldo. Okay, see a blue tick. Yep, 30,000. Yep. I see it. So I see a lot of pictures. So where do I see the
follow it?
Follow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm here. I see him. He has a lot of football pictures up. Taking a picture of his kids. I'm following. I don't see so where would I see that goal?
All right. You see up top with him having the Jamaican jersey.
Yes.
Put him behind him ears.
Yes.
Click on that.
Okay. So I click on it. I see him in a picture. It says Bolo Sports something. Then it has cool. Yeah, what do this?
You don't see nothing with him club?
Huh?
You don't see anything with him club?
Yeah, there's picture. Yes, I see something in this club.
Yeah.
But I don't. Huh? Oh, you mean he's gonna run a show? He's gonna show. You're saying?
Yeah, run. Yeah.
All right, everybody can watch it with me then. Since me, people may put it up. Put it up too. See, let me have it up. Is that the page you talk? Okay. So is this the one? Oh, this is a different goal. This is him running behind. Yeah, that's a good goal. People don't see that goal, eh? We can. And bring it up, people.
The one them take it down?
Yeah, there are 2 people around him.
The one them when them play it long and them take it down. That's how him score today, you know.
Yeah. I just saw that. No, it's a good goal. So there are 2 defenders around him too, and he was behind them because he's that quick.
Yeah. So it me I tell you. I don't want nobody tell me nothing about Cephas. So the man take that and run past him too and kick it in a goal.
Yeah. We'll show it again, people. We'll show it again.
Yeah.
We'll show it again, people. Okay, so there, long ball over the top. See him leave 2 man them dust. Take it down, brilliant take down. Go by the man again, because I'm too fast for anybody. Brilliant goal. See that, people? Brilliant goal. So thank you. I love that, Jordan. I love that. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you. Very good goal, Cephas. Very good. Yeah, man. Anything else on your end, Jordan? I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Respect, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
I just want to say, going forward, I think the team want a lot of work, but I think we'll get there next year. We just need a little fixing up, like a right back and maybe a left back as well to a striker. And I think we're gonna do good next year, man. I think the coach might see when go wrong and know where we need to. I hope him put in the work. You see me? I'm still positive in him staying here.
Okay, good. I'm glad the coach have a positive person. I can't say I'm that positive in him, but my hope is that he comes through because we need him to come through so we can go work up. So, yeah, man.
Respect.
Yeah, man, Jordan. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. And thanks for the information about Cephas. Okay. Thanks. Have a good night. All right, people. So that was Jordan doing a wonderful job of giving me more ammunition All I know I beat me about CFAS, you know. Me say, some people know raw talent and some people don't. That's all I gotta say, people. Some people can recognize talent. Even thanks, Jason Gunnar. Some people can recognize talent, and some people just can't. So life go. Don't feel bad. But I'm glad the kid is also doing well. Because I personally know, even though some people say the coach like everybody, me if you say him like CFAS a lot. Because hey, when you have that kind of speed in the people, if I just get your head together, I know. You might have something you can't teach. You can't teach anything then. You cannot teach what CFAS has. It's not possible. You can't teach what CFAS has. And if that's the case, then I'm trying to send this to myself. If you have what CFAS has, people, it cannot be taught. And I know people are going to say, no, no football in brain and not in no brain. Need him legs them. If every player was available, he would be perfect, but football is still a team sport. Happy he's doing well. Yeah, but he must score, you know, Richie. He must score, he must score, he must score, he must score. And that's what forward's supposed to do. Our forwards, Bailey ain't scoring a goal all year. Green up scoring a goal on goal for team. Can't remember. And Antonio wasn't scoring either. So we can't beat CFAS Star. Not the way he's playing nowadays. He's doing a job, and that's all he can do. Can't do more than do the job. Kid is playing well. And hope it continues because Jamaica needs him. Because our wingers are not that great. Our wingers are not producing. Yeah, Bobby has 2 jurors, but Bobby not get much playing time. Did Bobby play our game today? Did he play our game for Leicester today? I know he scored the second goal. But the last game I saw him coming when he scored, he came on like with 5 minutes left and got a tap in. We need our players, people, to be playing because they're not playing. I don't know how that's going to work. We need them to be playing, people. We need them to be playing. It's not good that our players are not playing as much as we'd like them to. It doesn't look good. It's not going to help us. It's we're trying to get to World Cup. He came on. Yeah, he doesn't get to start. For Leicester, who's at the bottom of the table. Not a good look. Can't have a player them can't get no game time. Doesn't look good, people. So, you know, when we get something, we have to overdo it, you know. Same again. Overdo it. Where is that? I'm missing that. You have to analyze the goal again, people. You have to analyze the goal again. You have to analyze it. We'll play it over again. We have to play it over. And put it down or something. You have to analyze the goal again, people. You have to dissect and decipher, you know. Can't just take goal and just say so. Dissect and decipher and see what he did, what he didn't do. And rewind. So we can rewind. Bobby's making a difference, but he's not getting much playing time. Rich Tov. So that's difficult. So let's play again, people. Long pass over the top. CFAS run between 2 defenders. Bring it down. Take it. Look for the defender. Run past him again. And put it in the far corner. A big time goal in the man. Big time goal. Go on, CFAS. Do your thing. You have supporters here, CFAS. You have supporters. Kranky's in your corner. I mean, Kranky in your corner, he knows, yes, you're good, CFAS. You're good. I think Kranky no talent. That's not true. Go look at CFAS stats. He don't play on 36 games, on 11 game. I look at his stats, Chris, go look at his stats again, Chris. First of all, Chris, him scored the other day and him score again. I think that's his 4th goal this season. I look at his stats. He has 4 goals in about 12 games. Better than all the Jamaican ringers. Better than everyone at the Jamaican ringers. Now, it's a different league. Probably not the same quality as the Premier League, but he's scoring better than all the other Jamaican ringers, actually. Apart from Mason Greenwood, but Mason Greenwood is not Jamaican yet. Yeah, Jason Guna. Left foot finish, Jason. I tell Jason that, hey, Chris, man. Chris, you see, when you have speed like that, Chris, you have to nurture that speed, not Chris, man. If you have people, if you have any footballer who have any modicum of any ability at all, and them have track and field speed, you find out if you get in a team. Yeah, League 2 in Turkey. All right. Call it League 3 or 3-4. Revel up here, Kana League. Revel up here, Kana League. So see if it's not better league. But if you have that kind of speed, and we saw him speed, we see him against US and like, see him speed in US. Well, he may not be a starter, but he's a starter for me for Jamaica. Coming in better than what we have now. In play better than Gray and play better than Bailey. I don't care 1-1, tell me. Play better than them. They're not producing. See if it's all come good. No worry about it. See if it's all come good. Yeah, Chris, but you have to go on the bench first, Chris, before you start sometime now. 36% of the team's minutes in the league. Yeah, but it doesn't mean that he plays 36% every game. Right? So let's say he played 36% of the team's minutes, Jason Guna, and him score 4 goals. Then if you extrapolate that, it's an even bigger number than I thought it was, right? If he plays 36 minutes in the game and he has 4 goals in about 12 games, that's how you go. So that means you extrapolate that, he's probably have a goal a game or 0.8 goals a game. In fact, it's probably about a goal a game, actually. Start 20% of the game. Yeah, it's probably a goal a game he's averaging, Jason Gunnar. If he's playing 36% of the minutes available and he's scoring, 4 goals, and he scored 2 in them last 2, it looked like. I now put up Nitro comment. I don't know what Nitro I talk about. I don't understand my knowledge in Nitro. So no, like beat me enough about certain things, but it's okay. I like to be proven right. Because being right is an awesome responsibility. Awesome responsibility, and I own that responsibility, people. I love to be proven right. It's like Havertz. Even Havertz was scoring, I'm gonna say I'm not ready to play forward and people beat me. Form is good, but class matters. Yes, I just got it here. He played 485 minutes in 44 games, right? And he's averaging, and he started 3, and he has 4 goals. So it's 1 goal every 121 minutes, which then suggests he's scoring a goal every game and a half. So 1 in 1.5. Then a big time starts them there. Yeah, Chris, but it will change, Chris. Trust me, Chris, it will change. When you start score goal, Chris, everything changes. Now, Cephas is raw, people. Don't get me wrong. Cephas, big time raw. He's raw. He needs coaching. He needs to be, when you have something raw, you have to nourish it. And you have to take it and saute it up. Right? DJ just started in the league. But DJ should be playing for us, Chris. DJ should be playing for us, Chris. DJ no better than midfielder we have. Eh? But trust me, Chris. When you start score goal, Chris, you become a starter. I'm not saying Cephas is a savior, no. All right, Chris, so explain this to me, Chris. The last game Bailey and Gray play, right? Probably the last 2 games. Go look at their stats. They don't dribble, they lose the ball. If they have 25 touches and lose the ball about 10 times. And then when you look at them stats, they haven't gone by them and they don't have no dribble pass. No dribble pass. Sorry, I can't deal with that. Can't deal with that. I have a problem with that. Yeah, thanks, Gunnar. No dribble pass. Nothing. Not creating nothing for nobody. I understand, Chris, but he started out late. Look, here's the thing, Chris, about players like Cephas, right? Because you and I argue about Low. We're going to argue about Cephas now because we do that. Some players start out later and mature later because they get poor coaching throughout their career. Maybe the coaching will improve. Not sure it will improve in Turkey. Look, I saw Cephas when I went to Dallas when he played in the semifinal, when he missed the goal against US. The man's speed, people, is off the chart. If you have a standing start, 2 of them, in 10 yards, he's ahead of you by 3-4 yards. If I have Robert pushing the ball through the Cephas, then it's game over, man. Gray scored 2 goals for Jamaica. 1 created by Cephas, by the way, Brian Burke. Before Gray game for Jamaica, Gray no scored no goal. In fact, Gray didn't play in about 9 of the first 12 games. Bailey no scored no goal this season. The reason I bring up dribble pass is this, Brian Burke, because we're not creating anything. And I need my wingers to beat people, to create openings, to allow his teammates to come into play, to put the defense under pressure. When Cephas come against the US and I watch a game, Cephas would look threatening. My wingers didn't look threatening, but my wingers look lost. Does Cephas have to work on the decision making? That's a no-brainer. Cephas make poor decisions. In the goal of Cephas score, not this one, the last one, he should have passed the ball. But he has some innate skills which you can't teach and which I value. So, here we go. Look, keep beating me about Cephas and prove me right. It's sweeter when I'm proven right. It's much sweeter. Because if we all agree I'm proven right, it doesn't make no sense. It's sweeter. Kranky is not, he's a low IQ player. So you're saying he's a low IQ player. Okay, let's say he has a low IQ people. A lot of people in football play low IQ who have done really well. Martinelli is one of them to me. Well, I shouldn't say have a low IQ, but make poor decisions. Trust me, Chris, come back here in a year and let's talk about that, Chris. Trust me. In a year's time, you'll see that I'm right most of the time. Yes, he's like Jody Brown. I don't disagree with that analogy. That example. I don't disagree, but I think Cephas is 10 times quicker than Jody Brown people. There's no comparison in their speed, and that's a differentiator. Yeah, Jody Brown has ability, but she makes poor decisions all the time. Because they had poor coaching growing up. I think they had poor coaching. That's just me. And maybe I'm saying something which is not the case, but I think they had poor coaching. I think they had poor coaching people. When you have poor coaching, until that changes, you got to break them. You have to break them out of bad habits. I'm not saying everybody's wearing spike heel, but I noticed today Cucurella was dropping, and I saw another player in another game was dropping like Cucurella. And in fact, the first goal against the US came from somebody dropping in the box on a dangerous play. But anyway, that's just me seeing those things. Okay, Chris, you're right, Chris. Sometimes you just watch highlights. Maybe I don't watch him in Turkey. I haven't watched him in Turkey, but I watch him up close when he play for Jamaica. Here's another thing, people. Cephas is being coached poorly, people. Probably even in Turkey. Here's what Cephas don't do, which bothers me. It's when you're playing wing, people, you have to set up your man. It's like a soccer, set up your man. Him always that think. You can see his brain working. Do I go inside? Go ahead on the line. Do I pass it to Odegaard? Do I go back to Partey? Do I go back to Ben White? Do I cross it? You can see the brain working and him trying to figure out what's the best decision is. I don't see that with Cephas when he's playing. Yeah, but the Pinnock thing, see Chris Smith on a partial Chris. Because my judgment of Pinnock came when he played in the Austria and he was awful. When US make him fall up on him butt and score. That was because I didn't see Pinnock play before that, right? That was my judgment of Pinnock. So you can't just watch certain game and just judge people. You have to watch a series of game. I've seen enough of Cephas. I've seen enough of Richard King. I've seen enough of Dwight McNeil to say those players can be in my team. Martinelli, Chris Smith. He's playing for a top team. Chris Smith, you asked me Chris Smith, I have to tell you, I'm dribbling him head down. Sometime Mbappe dribbled him head down to Chris Smith. I'm just telling you, Chris Smith. Sometimes Mbappe dribbled his head down, Martinelli dribbled his head down. That is a big problem. But you don't really dribble your head up, Chris. You're always glancing, Chris. Once you dribble your head up. But you always, when Gray get the ball, so I love about Gray, his first decision is to see where he is. There's an awareness factor. Cephas lack the awareness factor. We're not going to debate that, Chris. We're not debating Cephas' deficiency, Chris. So, Chris, here's what I want you to do, Chris. Tell me Cephas' upside. What are Cephas' attributes and great strengths, which are differentiators, Chris? Don't just drill on the negative, drill on the positive. Because I know what the negatives are, and I have taken the positives as a way of helping me get to a good place. Yeah, but Pinnock's slow like molasses, right? Pinnock's slow. But yeah, he's a good player. Can't deny that. But some players you pick out, Chris, they're not that great in a Chris. And every player I pick out great in a Chris. So me, I pick player now, Chris, based on me out plan. And me say, well, I say, I said, no, me say. I say, so who are the better players to turn, Chris? Because it can't be the wingers we have now. Because Gray don't play defense. And Gray not being Gray came and was a house on fire. Gray has regressed. Let's hopefully Gray gets enough playing time. And Bailey right now is in a funk. But if he's not injured, he's not playing well. If he's not injured, he's not playing well. I think you're wrong about Cephas, Chris. Chris, I bet you don't like Cephas, and I bet you don't like King. You like King Cephas? I mean, like King Cephas. Chris, you like King? I like King. I like Cephas. In fact, I probably replace Lowe with Cephas. Chris says Anthony. I don't. Is Anthony interested in coming to Jamaica? I don't think Anthony is. Anthony's where? Was at Bournemouth, right? Dwight McNeil, I'm a big proponent of, right? He had me singing the Dwight McNeil praise. I've watched him for the last 5 years. Quality, people. Quality. Surprised he hasn't got one England call. So Nitro say great playing now. Okay, well, let's hope he gets up to speed. Okay, let's hope he gets up to speed, people, because we need him to play better. Because he hasn't been playing well. And when people don't get game time, and like how Hayden wasn't having a game time, it's difficult to not be playing against players who play at a high level. Well, I'm not sure if it hurt Gray, because Gray wasn't getting any time on Sam Dyche and that Dyche show. And the money was too good in Saudi Arabia. And frankly, you know what? I think Gray made the right move going to Saudi Arabia. When you're in the 27 years range and you're getting much $100,000 a week and you're only making, and it's going to be after tax or no taxes, you got to take it. Yeah, but Anthony, I thought, well, why am I thinking he was at Burnley? I mean, at Bournemouth. So what are your thoughts on this player, Chris Smith, since you seem to know a lot of these players? It's the player I'm looking for. What are your thoughts on Keenan Davis? Because I heard he may be in the pipeline. Lee Young said Jaden Anthony's not. See, people have different views on players, right? Yeah, Nitro, but he had none against the US Nitro. That's my point. He had none. I don't think he had one successful dribble in the entire time he came to play this US. Did he give a successful dribble against the US? I don't think so. Colin Quest says, give me 50% of Gray over Bailey. Right, yeah. I did pick my team the other day and got beaten, I had Cephas and Gray in my team. Well, I had Cephas and Nelson instead of Gray because I don't like how Gray was playing, but I put Gray in there over Bailey and put Cephas and Bailey on two different wings, even though a lot of people beat me about that. But I did think Dwight McNeil is definitely somebody we should pursue as hard as possible. No, Nitro, he scored off a Cephas shot that the keeper parried. That's what he did. And he scored off a good cross from Hayden. Another player that I have in my team. Yeah, Chris, he's at Udinese and he's starting. He has 2 goals in 14 games. Well, he started 6 and came to for 8. He's probably going to be one that we probably can get actually. Lee Young said Keenan Davis is worse. Lee Young don't like none of you play them, Chris. He said Keenan Davis is worse. Lee Young don't like any of your players, Chris. Well, you didn't pick Keenan Davis. I picked Keenan Davis because I was told that he's being pursued. Or he's a player, I wouldn't say pursued. He's a player who has quality, who should be considered, and he has Jamaican heritage, and he probably should pursue. I just said, don't rate Davis. Okay. Yeah. Well, he's playing for Udinese. He scored 2 goals out of 14. So he's playing in the Italian Serie A. I have seen Keenan Davis play, but not recently, actually. Not in the last year. I saw him when he was at Villa. He didn't get a lot of time at Villa, but I saw him a little bit. Someone said Canberra from Sheffield United is better. Here's my view on that, people. I think we should pursue players who we know can walk into the team. That's my view. We should pursue players who can walk into the team. We shouldn't just pursue a player. You know what? No, we should pursue every player, people. Let me just say this. Pursue every player with the context of, you know what, getting them papers. But when you're selecting them, it's a different story. Brian Burke. Havertz should not be. Havertz is not a center forward, Brian Burke. You can't convince me. Nobody can convince me. Havertz is not what Arsenal need. He's not dynamic. There are levels to football. And Havertz, I'm surprised Arteta took him out today. He can't create none for himself. Havertz can't create a goal for himself. If my center forward people can't create a goal for himself, he shouldn't be on the field. Can't create a goal for himself. Can't beat a man. Can't run past anybody. Can't get behind the defense. The twice he got behind the defense in the last how much game and kick with the ball. Not ready. Not a forward. I agree, Chris, but I heard Cameron Archer wants to wait for England. I was told this numerous times. Yes. Cameron Archer is easy goal too, Chris, but he's dynamic, and I like dynamic forwards. But Archer, I was told Archer is waiting for England, actually. That's what I was told. I don't know if that's going to change. Archer's waiting for England. Dwight McNeil is not focused on international football. But I think if you turn up the charm on Dwight McNeil, it's possible because England not calling him. He didn't get called by Lee Carsley, which is shocking given that Lee Carsley was calling everybody and their mother. So, yeah. So Chris says Davis can do well in CONCACAF. Yeah, Chris, we'll see if he comes. He'll probably get, if he gets all his documents and he gets his papers, we'll see what happens. We want the coach to have options, people. Because right now, I'm not confident with that forward line unless we get Mason Greenwood. Just not. I'm not sold on Ellis Sims, Chris. Not dynamic enough for me. Cameron Archer is dynamic, not sold on Ellis Sims. And I've watched Ellis Sims, actually. Especially last year when he was running through the FA Cup, playing with Coventry. I'm not sold on Ellis Sims. I'm not sold on Holgate. In fact, Holgate is not in my 23. And I've watched Holgate for years at Everton. Years. Both him and Ben Godfrey. Godfrey I would have more tolerance for. Holgate, not feeling him. Was a good player at once. He's regressed year after year after year. Seems to be going backwards. I'm not sold. Yeah. But I like Cameron Archer, but people gotta get their papers and come in. Nitro said Nicholson, Campbell, and Giovanni Brown as our Still none of those names jump off the paper at me. Wow. You think Trevante Stewart is better than wow. Really? I don't know. Well, he was an international Rich, so they can refer to him all they want. He ain't playing for England, though. They can refer to him all they want, especially in it sounds good in France, but he ain't playing for England, that's for sure. Not happening. Now make a prediction and get myself in trouble. If Greenwood play for England again, we come off of YouTube. I may rephrase that. If Greenwood play for England in the next 4 years, we come off of YouTube. We stop the YouTube channel. Let me say that again. If Greenwood play for England in the next 3 to 4 years, I'm stop doing YouTube channels. I cannot see people. Not the way English people are and England press is. Any coach who does that, they be destroyed. That's a Me Too movement situation. Not happening. So they can comment about him, England international. He was an England international. And once you are, and you have been this totally discarded, then he's still England international. But it has been. Yeah, Javari, but some players believe that, they believe in themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some players believe they have the ability to get to do really well. Just like Ivan Toney did. What Toney get? Go Euro? He ain't playing for England again. Chris says, I don't think Boza will qualify for the World Cup. He's the main striker. It will not happen. we need to improve this team across the board. We need to improve the team. Look, the last wind-up team, people, the coach realized he needs more quality. Yeah, but here's the thing, BM. We seem to be very selective about how we consider players, right? So we beat certain players who are playing in like USL, but then we want to look at players who play in like Serbia and Estonia and let me be very careful with my words. This is not denigrate people. And I don't know the Serbian league, but it's not one of the top leagues. And I would love the kid to get another chance because I know he got in trouble because of breaking curfew or whatever it was, a party and a turn up on time, but be able to get away with it because he really have pedigree and play for big teams. So, yeah. So Devon take offense to Lee Young saying Trevante Stewart and Keenan. I just say people, it's about opinion. Nitro Ulgalde is a good striker. Boza is an okay striker. Look, everybody can have their views about players, their ability, where they play, how they play. Come people, the phone line's still open now. May I finish the stream in about 10 to 15 minutes? Because Sunday night, I've got rest. I've got a long week ahead of me. I have quite a few things I work on. Not sports item, actually. So people, if you haven't done this before, people, I'm dead serious. I need your help, people. I need your help. I need even if you don't want to watch the channel, people. See, I'm not going to put Kranky Live up there. I need for you to subscribe to Balance View. I need to get Balance View to be 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Very important. So here the Balance View people, if you have, just click the channel and subscribe. You don't have to watch the channel, just click it and subscribe. I want to get it to 1,000 subscribers in the next 2 weeks, people. So hit and subscribe because I have a bunch of things that I'm working on that I want to put out. Lord Devon, you don't have to go that hard, Devon, man. Devon going in hard. The Serbian league is bigger than the USL. Also, Serbian league is one of the top feeder leagues in Europe. Okay. I remember some people used to call MLS Bush League, and my friend before the game got upset and gave Stats so much money that the MLS is what? The second most watched league? Is that what he said? Oh, wait, I need to put up that stat, people. Let me see if we can find a stat. Find a stat I got the other day. I have to repeat the stat. What was the stat? If I can find it. Global attendance. So here's the global attendance, people. It's a big stat, people. Global attendance, leagues, the Premier League. Total attendance in the Premier League in 2023-24, 14.6 million people. The MLS 23-24, 12.1 million people. The Bundesliga, 12 million. Serie A, 11.7. La Liga, 10.7. So if one of the criteria is attendance at games for leagues, MLS is second in the world. As I drop the mic thing, people. Drop the mic thing. 12.1 is in 2024. And all these other leagues in their duration of time between 23 and 24, only Premier League had more, which is 14.6. That says a lot, actually. So that's a big deal for the MLS, who continues to grow. Then probably need to get some younger players, because them get enough people when they might retire, like the Saudi Arab. I think if we stop going that route, even though they want to promote the game still, and it's all about money and attendance. And maybe Messi has a lot to do with some of that. I wonder what it was before last year, because I'm sure Messi influenced some of that. Like when Pele came here in the 70s, went to the US in the 70s and influenced the NASL, and then it got on the journey after that. Ah, boy. Look, people, we will not have consensus on some of these players, right? We'll not have consensus. Wow, what a question. No. The answer, Chris Simmons, is no. We don't have to go around the bush and point around the bush. The answer is no. People, hit the like button. Hit the like button. So other people can watch this video. Hit the like button. And people, let me know if you like my background. Somebody says it's too busy. You think the background too busy, people? Nothing's anything. See there? See, it's a Kranky Live sports recap. Let me move my chair. See it? Kranky Live sports recap. Me like it. I'll have Mike there. Me like my background. But this is only for tonight. No, Antonio's a better player than Boza, man. Come on, man. Let's not compare apple and oranges. Now look at me beat Antonio because I'm not scored the goal. No, I don't have a sponsor. No. So people, it's kind of funny. Before the game, I don't have a sponsor. I put this on my thing because I'm a Jamaican and I promote Jamaican stuff. So no, I don't have a sponsor. This Tropical Rhythm Fruit Punch. I like Fruit Punch. I don't drink it as much anymore because too much sugar. But I put it up there because I have a business thing. And it was a beer thing I had there. And I cover the beer with this. I cover the beer with this because I don't drink. And I'm not encouraging people to drink. But no, I don't have a sponsor. I don't have a sponsor. Boy, before the game can observe certain things, Lord, boy. Kranky, it's not your background, it's theirs. Whose? I built this background. What are you talking about? I built the background, Evan. I set this up. I built it. I built it and put it up. You know, so I took out my Kranky Live background today. But see, I have cricket in there, and I have football, and I have NFL, I have NBA, but you can't really see it because it's in the background. But the NBA is here someplace. The NBA, and wait, the wrong thing. See NBA there? You can't see it good, but NBA is there too. All the things that I support are covered. Yes, the team does need to get younger. Actually, we keep recruiting a bunch of senior citizens. We need some younger folks in the team. We have a bunch of people. We have a bunch of young players who have Jamaican citizenship, and who nobody knows about because we have a quota. And you know what? Me stop. I say I'm not going to go with the quota route again. I'm going to leave the quota thing alone since it's not going to change. And I like to beat my mouth up about things which will not change. I like to effect change and affect change, not just talk about something which is not going to materialize. Boy, we have some big argument in the chat. Okay, people are stepping on each other. Can't hurt no corn. No, look, I think we should naturalize everybody. That's my philosophy. Naturalize everybody, and then the coach have enough to pick from. Even the people that most ever play for England, naturalize them. Say, hey, you're gonna play for England, fine. Get a Jamaican citizenship. We'll help you get it. We pay for it, frankly, because some of them won't play for England. Like Antonio was in the England squad at one point, but didn't get any game time. That's why he played for us, right? He came to us. We said no. He went to England. They took him in the squad for once, and then didn't play him. So he came to play for us. If I stop talking about nothing will change, before the game, sir, it not change before the game. Not change. Jamaica people, unless the people change, it's not changing. Bless up, Conrad. Thanks for joining. It's not changing before the game. We've been talking about quotas. We've been talking about stuff, and I want to say this actually. So, you know what? I'm not going to say it. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm tired of going on the quota. I'm exhausted with the quota thing. It's not okay to have quotas. It's not okay to have conflicts, but they are what they are. So I'm going to leave them alone and move on. Javari says, all them soon come Kranky. Yeah, but you know what, people? I'm going to say this. If all them want to come in 2026 when I work up, we don't take all of them, you know? So maybe just say, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. I'm sorry. Depends. If they have greenwood quality, then we just roll with nose and take them. But if they don't, we don't take all of them. No, Brian, but I'm exhausted, Brian. I'm exhausted talking about it. Exhausted. And then I'm making enemies talking about Brian. I mean, I'm not an enemy thing, Brian. Tired of making enemy. Tired of making enemy, Brian. You know much enemy make Brian at Jamaica? People say, boy, sort of stuff me get feedback on. Sort of stuff. Making too many enemies. You talk about certain topics and people are perturbed. People are perturbed. People are perturbed people about certain things. But the quota thing is not right, and I think Jamaica can change it. And the conflict thing is not right. They need to manage it or manage it more transparently. And when I mention it, people get upset. And even though they get upset, it's not the upset about it, but you should only focus on, if you can't change something, a waste of time, right? If you can't change something, a waste of time. You have to be able to effect change. And I focus on doing that, actually. So my hope is that the coach will go earning money, because I'm not earning money, people. Maverick don't want to come on my channel. I invited Maverick on my channel, and he says he's busy, and he's not even looked at my channel much to come on my channel. So my philosophy is this, is that if I support you and you don't support me, then I have to listen to you still, but me not spend enough time with you. Quota is fine, leave it alone. I don't even know what that means. So, Paul, you're saying you're fine with denying citizens their rights? Is that what you're saying, Paul Edwards? You're saying it's okay to discriminate, Paul. Is that what you're saying? You think it's okay to discriminate against people who have your same race, by the way? You think that's okay, Paul? Is that what you're saying? I'm just curious. I hear you, Brian. I hear you. But they probably had encouragement that they were making changes. I want Paul Evers to answer the question, Paul. Is it okay to discriminate against people, against citizens? What make a local player more entitled than a player born overseas who is under 20 if they're both citizens of the country? Please explain that to me, Paul. I'm really waiting for an answer. I would love to get an answer from you, Paul. Please explain to me. Paul, a quota system is discrimination. Or don't you understand what that means, Paul? Don't you understand what that means when you have a quota system? It's discrimination. That's why the U.S. Supreme Court, where you have affirmative action, which is based on a historical situation in the States where people were denied equality and they tried to have a catch-up, they said, you know what? It's discrimination. We're going to knock it down. Now we're doing it in a country where we don't have that situation with people because they're like us. And you're saying quota is not discrimination. So what is it then? Please define quota for me, Paul Edwards. Please define quota. We're going to have the conversation tonight. Paul Edwards, define quota for me. In layman's term. Don't run to Thesaurus. Don't run to Oxford. Define quota in layman's term. Paul Edwards, please define it for me. You say it's not discrimination. So explain about what is it to me. Since it's not discrimination, and I'm not that smart. What do you mean first responder? I'm not sure what you're saying. Yeah, Rich Toy. I mean, Paul Evers is saying quota is not discrimination. That's one of the most asinine statements I've ever heard. Because in the US, you know what they used to say? Affirmative action is reverse discrimination, which it is in a sense, but it was meant for a larger good just because Black people have been denied equality for years, so they're trying to have a catch-up system. I don't see no people denying Black people anything in Jamaica. A quota is a fixed amount of or a number that's official. A fixed amount that is officially permitted or required. What the hell does that mean? Football quota in a footballing context. Stop. Go look at some dictionary to go tell me what it says. No. Extrapolate those numbers and put in football in context. You're saying it's not discrimination. You talk about official fixed number. Put in the context of you saying, I'm going to select a number of persons can only make this team or can only work in this discipline in this industry. Please do that. Okay, that make no sense. Yes, Brian, Clarence Thomas, who benefited from affirmative action, went to Yale. He did vote against it. But Clarence Thomas and Uncle Tom, right? So we can't use Clarence as an example for anything. Look, I agree with affirmative action from the context of if you discriminate against people for centuries, how the hell would they ever catch up to you? You deny them housing, you send them to put them in jail, you don't pay them when they worked. Educationally, you deny them. You got to find a way to catch up with them. It is reverse discrimination, but there's a societal benefit for it in the context of saying you did something wrong, so you're trying to fix it. Those kids ain't doing nothing wrong to the kids in Jamaica. Nobody did nothing wrong to the kids in Jamaica. They had poor coaches. Before the game says, quota is discrimination born out of fear, misunderstanding, unconscious bias, and superiority complex. That's the more traditional definition. But in the context of football, a quota system is that I'm protecting the local players in Jamaica because they're not good enough. That's what it is. They're not good enough, and the players overseas are better than them. So I'm going to give them ability to play. So I'm putting meritocracy out the door and allow inferior quality to be on the field. That's all you're saying. Don't stop me up. Don't stop me up. There's a lot of politics in football, BM. I agree with that. There's a lot of politics in football. At every level, in every situation. Arsenal have politics. Man U have politics. You always have politics in football. Coaches are politicians. But for Edwards to come here talking about, I cannot believe any person with a brain, with any brain, would say quotas are discrimination in the context of what we're talking about. Like, it's asinine. Seriously. I get to the point of being annoying, actually. If you're saying, you know what, it's discrimination, but there's a difference. But I think we have to discriminate to do something. But don't say it's not discrimination. And under the Jamaica Constitution, which I have excerpts from, under the JFF's own constitution, they're not going to divide by race, nationality, way or born. That's what the JFF said. And they're doing it. Why am I down that path? I thought I was going to stop talking about it. Yeah, John Wall actually didn't want to play the players there and and then fire him. We were told that John Wall was reassigned because he has to, I'm gonna get myself in trouble again, but I can't help that. I don't like to be taken for a fool. I'm sorry, I don't like to be taken for a fool. So you tell me you've reassigned John Wall because John Wall couldn't do two duties. I was just like, stop. Yes, Nitro, I agree, Nitro. I should move on, Nitro. I should move on. We should move on. Before the game says, politics refers to the activities and process of with governments, yes, decision-making and the distribution of power within society. The area of football is something else. Well, no, when we see political, when people talk about political in the context of what we're talking about, it's almost like being a diplomat, right? Or making certain decisions for whatever reason other than what it should be. The JFF has given a fixed amount of players who are not living in Jamaica to represent the U team. No. Stop. It's not living in Jamaica. Who are not born in Jamaica. Let's be clear. There is birthplace discrimination. You got to live in Jamaica. Okay, if you live in Jamaica at age 1, you're not subject to the quota. They don't say nothing about live in Jamaica. It's born in Jamaica. And the quota system is in the manifesto. The JFF was so proud of their quota set up. I want to convince their constituents to vote for them. They put it in their manifesto. That's amazing. You can discriminate and do that in the playing book. They're like Trump. I know what it says, Paul Edwards. I know what it says. You know what they say in the manifesto, Paul? That they've been breaching it and they're going to cut it off. That's what it says in the manifesto, Paul. You go read the manifesto. Paul, really, Paul? People, I love this. Paul says, the coach can request more about the quota system if requested. Can request more about the quota. Yes, he can, and they've been complaining about that. 99% of those who are requesting, so Paul Edwards from the JFF, right? 99% of those who are requesting are not better than those in Jamaica. So Paul Edwards, the under-20 team. Paul Edwards, the under-20 team. You want to tell me that those 14 players John Wall want to call in, those of who I know, I have their names, I have what team they play for, and other information about them, They're not better than who playing the under 20. The under 20 got 15 love. Paul Edwards, explain the under 20 to me, Paul Edwards. Please explain the under 20 to me, Paul Edwards. Since you're so knowledgeable and you probably work for the JFF, are part of the organization. Explain, because the year before in the Paul Edwards, when we played under 20, we didn't get no 15 love in the Paul Edwards. We were competitive. We had a bunch of overseas players in the team, more than 6. This time we had about 5, about few started, and they get 15 love. Paul Edwards, 3 from Cuba, 3 from Costa Rica, 9 from the US. Paul Edwards, you're not telling me that those players are better than the ones that I saw that are at Tottenham and at Ajax and at Chelsea and all those other teams, Paul Edwards? Let me go look up the list, Paul Edwards. We have to listen to Paul Edwards. All those players at those big clubs, you don't tell me they're better than Paul Edwards? You're talking garbage. Total garbage. Total garbage. You can justify your quote all you want, but you're talking garbage. You should stop, Paul Edwards. You're embarrassing yourself. Seriously. You're embarrassing yourself. Conrad said, that's why we're not far enough in football. We beat Japan 98. We see Japan now under 23 will kill us. They killed our senior size. You're talking about Conrad. You saw them against our senior team? No, I don't think Paul Edwards use. Well, unless TikTok is using 2 things, because I know they're both on the same time. I think Football Guru and TikTok are the same. But Paul Edwards talking garbage. Garbage. All right, people. I'm done talking to Paul Edwards for the night. I'm done. Paul Edwards, bye. Have a good night, Paul Edwards. Your garbage is annoying me. Your garbage is just like out of control. It's out of control. That's why that's why I want to fire Paul. What's name? The coach, you know. Who I thought was arrogant anyway. That's why you guys fired him. Because he said the Jamaican players weren't good enough. Well, you probably, if you're not part of them followers, you act like you are. John Wall said they were not good enough. You can't use them. John Wall didn't want to be embarrassed. John Wall has a resume to protect. So Paul, you know about Jamaica, but Paul, I'm not sure you know anything about Jamaica football. No? I don't know, you know about Jamaica football. I don't think you know much about Jamaica football, Paul Edwards. Seriously. You are confused. No, I said they weren't good enough, and he was right. Because the players we send, they embarrass the country and embarrass themselves. That sounds harsh, but they embarrass the country and embarrass themselves. The players we send for the under 20 embarrass the country and embarrass themselves. They're kids, I know they are, but they embarrass the country and themselves. It's a fact. It's not debatable. And we still haven't gotten a post-mortem which we were promised. And I know I spoke to, what's his name about it, and he said, situation, but I don't think we should come here and get praise when we win and don't take the criticism when we lose. I don't think we should do that. I don't think it's okay. Now, John Ma was an arrogant, you know what? I wasn't the biggest supporter of John Ma. He was arrogant, too arrogant. He was very condescending and arrogant. I did interview him on my management channel. He was. I didn't like the interview and I didn't like the engagement with him. So Paul was, I live in the US like you, all right, coach Jamaica over 30 years. That's why the players them can't play Paul Edwards. Because people like you are coaching them Paul Edwards. That's why the players them can't play no football. I've been knowing something, Paul Edwards, because I know coach at Jamaica to a big time coach and no can't coach. No fan no can't coach Paul Edwards. No fan no Paul Edwards have all methods and no can't coach. I'm not killing the youth them. I own the problem. I've said this. The coaches in Jamaica are the biggest problem for Jamaica football. And they're the same one, no foreign players. None of them coach are embarrassment, Paul Edwards. Are people like Paul Edwards, are people like you are the problem. I know that, I'm glad to tell you to coach. Paul Edwards, I don't know, I kill you, them not kill them, and not teach them how to speak, and not help them academically. Them can't put 2 sentences together. Them can't control a ball. Them can't pass a ball. I don't know the problem, Paul Edwards. I don't know if you get fire. All I know, a coach forget fire. All I know, put down a bar and run on the bridge. Run off on bridge. Go ahead. No good. Can't coach. No fan no can't coach. Go get accreditation like a speeder though. No can't coach. Can't coach. No can't coach Paul Edwards. 30 years. Tell me one ball you produce Paul Edwards will make world-class footballer. I played on big league Paul Edwards. Can't name me one. I can't coach Paul Edwards. I promise you, I should have known it from your CEO narrative, Paul Edwards. You guys are the problem. No, but you see, a coach has been for 30 years in the overseas now. So you were part of the problem. Didn't go and get educated. Believe that I'm not a big-time coach. I can't coach. When schoolboy football, I'm not a big coach. I can't coach Paul Edwards. I can't coach. I'm telling you that. I can't coach. One of the things that football coaching is just on the football field. Football coaching is the entirety of the human being, the person. You have to coach them in all aspects of life. You have to help them in terms of the academics and how they think and how they make decisions in life. Because it informs them football playing days. No one another. No one another. Joke at it. Why? I said I know it, you know. I mean, I have to tell me which team in coach. I can't coach. Can't coach. Coach at Jamaica. I'm a big coach. Can't coach. You're beating them. I'm not saying every Jamaican coach can coach, but enough of them who think I'm a big coach, them can't coach. And the outcome proved that to Paul Edwards. What the output you guys put out there proved that. Some of them can't put two sentences together. I'm not coach them, I'm not give them media training, I'm not give them interview, I'm not make them feel good, I'm not help them. No, I do not with the kid them. And just use them to play some football and then set them back on the yard. And then they'll end up being great human beings. It's a joke. You're coach for 30 years. I mean, why, you know what? Should I know that? I can't coach. Can't coach. But Paul, you know what you do, Paul? Let's not talk football, Paul, me and you anymore. Come on my Balance View channel, Paul. Let's talk about social matters. Because you can't coach. You don't know about football. Paul, don't come here and give me no hard time again, Paul Edwards. Come on my Balance View channel, where we'll have intelligent discussion about social matters. Because I'm sure you're better in that arena than you are in the football arena. It's not your forte. Give it up. Coach that one. Because Paul Edwards come here defend indefensible a lot of time. Paul Edwards, I give you a hard time, Paul. But seriously, Paul Edwards, I don't know if you can coach or not. Maybe you can coach, but the coaching system in Jamaica hasn't helped the kids. So I had to come hard at you because you come hard at me. But let me just say this, Paul Edwards. Can you tell me something? You tell me something an idiot one time, you know, you use the word idiot, you say something else. When you describe me, I don't know about football, you say. You say me don't know about football. I mean, hey, Paul Edwards, me a YouTuber, I know. Me, I'll admit I don't know about football, but you're a coach. Are you worse than me? Because it means me not get my kids the kids in the wrong direction. Me not try to coach with me can't coach. You come on this platform and tell us you've been coaching in Jamaica for 30 years. And you get the kids them wrong information. Why am I tell you? It's bad. Paul Edwards, before the game said, I would like to hear you call in. It would be a good conversation. You know, it wouldn't be. No, before the game, it would be Paul Edwards coach. Paul Edwards says that the junior team would be no better. Paul Edwards, no way about it now. Would no better if they had overseas players a part of the team. And the team get 15 love people. In today's football, we're not playing tennis, you know. Okay, if it's 2 tennis game and you score to go to 7, because one winner forget to 7 person win and there's a tiebreaker, a 14 that, you know. We get 15 in a 3 game. Don't get tycoon. I try tycoon, but the man can't coach tycoon. Tycoon, the man can't coach. Part of it says, I will come to your program one of these days to discuss Jamaican football and its progression. Paul, don't say why one of these days, Paul Edwards. The number is open. Paul Edwards, the number is 347-728-8625. I don't know football. I'll admit that, right? So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a great football mind, but I do know what good looks like. I'm going to say that again. You know that term? Is a term name of England which spread globally. I think I know what good looks like. I think I know what quality looks like, which is the same concept. So if you show me a good footballer, I think I can know it. That's like I'm saying Richard King is a good footballer and Cephas will be a good footballer. And number of other players are good footballers. I will be good footballers. I think I can predict those things or I can see those things. Hey, before the game, 1 year point on this before the game because you coach before the game. You coach, you have an academy. What's your thought on Cephas? So you're not Jamaican either. So you're objective in your assessment before the game. Text me and put in the chat what you think your thoughts on Cephas are. Rich Toy said Jamaica football is in stagnation, not progress. By the way, I noticed that Cavaliers had about 4 overseas players. I wonder if I'm a quote in a Cavalier system. There were about 4 or 6 players and then win the Caribbean Championship. And those players each should be significant contributors to the team. So, yeah, 4 to 11 starters were not Jamaicans. Interesting. I'm not beating coverage people. I'm just making a point, which is you need diversity in your team sometime to do well. That's how life is. I believe in diversity at all levels. It's a great minds think alike. So they need different minds to achieve ultimate outcomes. You need different minds, different perspective, different views. If we all think the same monolithically, it doesn't really work sometimes, people. Yeah, no, he would pick. Yeah, of course, Conrad, he would. But I pick King. I like King. I've been seeing more of King, and I'm like, the more I see of King, the more I like King. I watched King in the Caribbean Championship too. I like King. So Devon says Paul Edwards coach at Namaman in school in the Manning Cup. Namaman never win Manning Cup, and I can't remember. And I think he coached in the college system in the US. Okay, maybe he can coach. I don't know. Yeah, Nitro. I mean, if you have the best players in the Caribbean, they should all probably play in Jamaica because they can only help the people around them, actually, right? Before the game says, so people, this is before the game, who is not Jamaican. He says, I rate Cephas. I think he's supported by good midfielders. He will produce goals for Jamaica. Thank you before the game. I like an independent, objective mind that coaches, nurtures talent, and bring people through and have a bunch of people in the college system, have 2 kids who are pros. I think I respect that view more than some of the other views I'm getting about my selections of players. I think so. Malik says, Cephas is the only Jamaican player who drive to goal. Personally, I think he's going to be a good footballer. I agree with you, Malik. I agree with that. People, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. His show is lasting longer than I thought it would. Yeah. Paul Edwards, who's very calm, not like Kranky, giving a hard time, says he thinks Jamaica football is progressing. See, people, sometimes in life, it's not about if you're making progress or not. The question is, what's the speed and volume of progress? That's important, people. Because I can make progress, and I can go from, if I'm 20, making $10 an hour, people, right? And I'm 50, making $15 an hour, I've made progress. But is that progress satisfactory? Versus, I'm 20 making $10 an hour. Now I'm 50, I'm making $20 an hour. That's real progress, people. There's a difference, right? Difference. So it's progressing, but is the progress as good as it could be and as fast as it should be? Paul said we are exporting more players, not more now. Certified now. We'll continue to get better. Yes, I don't agree with that. But Edwards, the question for you is this: is the progress sufficient? Is the progress where it should be? It's like Jamaica said, we have all this infrastructure project, and all I'm seeing is roads with potholes. And I'm like, why this? You have this big infrastructure project, and they look wonderful, and you're gonna, from Montego Bay going to Loose area, I think you can not drive through the town. It's all great, but if you're all around you, there's potholes everywhere, but you have this big, nice highway, is the progress what it should be? That's the question. Boza play a wing? Right. We need that to know. Boza need to start run more. So you know what? Boza is getting thick up. Boza came play last time. Boza was running hard. So yeah. So Big Ed Boy 73, not my year he was born, says if JFF was being run better, would have been back to the World Cup by now. Look, I think leadership in the Caribbean is, so let me be nice and use the best word I can, words I can to describe this. It needs enhancement. How about that? Euphemism. It's good. Javar says, Cephas play center forward today. Okay. No, I mean like Cephas, man. Cephas will get to division, the top league in Turkey eventually. I think that's scoring enough goals, As Paul says, coaches are trained, certified, and exposed, the players will get better. So I have a question for you. So Paul Edwards, do you agree that coaching in Jamaica is part of the problem as to why we have made better progress in football and have made World Cup since '96? And by the way, for all those people who also beat them chest about how many players we had in the Jamaica squad to go to the World Cup, how many actually started the first game? I'm going to ask you that question. How many Jamaicans who were born in Jamaica started the first game in the World Cup? Did Robbie Hurst start? Did Powell start? Did Paul Hall start? Did Simpson start? Did Sinclair start? I'm just saying. Did Burton start? I'm just saying. That's all I got to say. Even when Simone's getting to work, I'm saying, you know what I have is not good enough. I got to get better. So when you guys have this whole return to memory and go back in history, don't forget, make sure the history is clear. Yes, Big Ed, I am a big proponent of that, Big Ed. I'm a big proponent of that. I'm a big proponent of that, people. Devon, the other way around, Paul, leave me alone. Paul, stop coming and try to beat me all the time. Every me say A, Paul say B. Paul can make a TikTok TikTok and football go the same. If me say A, them say B. If me say me not like quota, them say quota is great. When quota is discriminatory, him say it's not discriminatory when it is discriminatory. And if Paul Edwards live in the US, like he says, then he'll know that quotas are discriminatory. Good night. Who am I speaking to?
Good night, Chris P.
Christy, good night. How are you doing?
Good night. I'm fine. I hope you're doing well. I want to thank you for addressing this coaching issue. Because there seems to be a disconnect between how talent is appraised locally compared to how the same talent is appraised on the international scene. Right. And I suspect that along with Jamaica's footballing culture, coaching is a part of the problem. And when you look at a player like Kaim Dixon, for example, he's a cat's meow among Jamaican fans, but he went to England and he's in the 3rd division in the academy. So that is telling me that something is wrong where the development and the talent scouting are concerned. Something is wrong somewhere.
But we know what's wrong. It's the coaching.
Yes, but it does not change. It does not change.
Well, they are working on it, right? The JFF now, you heard the president when he came on talk about they're trying to get accredited a number of coaches so that they start in primary school. You need to have I guess either a D or a C license for primary school going forward. I know they have coaches for like 500 coaches on the D license. And eventually the JPL, which is now B license required, will move up to A at some point. So they're trying to do something different, right? So we got to give them some credit for
that. They should get credit, but however, there is a potential problem. Because when you have any system, your system supposed to be like a dragnet. You throw your net out in the water and you catch some fish, and some fish are gonna let go. And I'm afraid we're gonna have a situation where the license program is to just give coaches license and not to weed out bad coaches. Is the licensing program to weed out bad coaches, or is just to give coaches license? Because you have coaches in Jamaica who cannot read and write.
No, you can't. You can't make that statement that you have proof, right?
I was born and raised in Jamaica. I know how Jamaica works.
Right, but you can't say that no, because you probably have left Jamaica a while ago, right?
Not a very long time. Just by the way, they cannot put a sentence together with proper subject.
Right, but we gotta be careful with the term read and write. Be very careful with that term. Them can read and write. They may not be eloquent and articulate and can communicate well. Because we see that with certain players too. But I'm not gonna say them can't read and write. That's very that's not you gotta reposition that. They may not be the most informed people.
Exactly.
When you say somebody not read and write in a big thing, that in a big thing, that in a big thing. People take that personal. But nobody can beat me, say Kranky, they have proposed to people at Jamaica can't read and write.
Mr. Speed in a interview on YouTube, intimated that the exam is by word. And the issue was that and the issue was that some coaches have a problem with the written exam.
What do you mean the exam is by word? What does that mean? I understand.
that means they are told they answer by word and not by like taking okay, for example, you have the SAT where you go in a
So it's a verbal exam. It's a verbal exam. It's a verbal.
Yeah, yes, I'm the ones who cannot do the book and who cannot do it. Just like you'll have a class and the students take a test. Those will be given by word. And I am concerned, Kranky. I know how Jamaica works. I was born and raised in Jamaica. So I'm a Jamaican through and through. I know how Jamaica works. I know how Jamaica works, my friend.
But when you say the exam, is because Paul Evans said the exam is a practical test. It's a written test and a practical test. So it's a written test where you do the theory and then you go up on the field and demonstrate the practice, right?
Again, Mr. Speed intimated, I don't want to quote him directly, that some coaches were having problem like reading the thing and answering on paper, and they were allowed to do it by word.
Then if they do that, but that's slackness. Then if they're doing that,
I don't remember the live stream. Kranky,
if that's the case, if that's the truth, that should not be allowed. Sorry, it should not be allowed.
Again, I am a Jamaican through and through. I know how Jamaica works. Okay. I am a Jamaican through and through. I know how Jamaica works.
You said that 3 times now, you know? 4 times you say that.
No, I'm going to keep on saying it because I know how Jamaica works.
Okay.
It's not like England work where things are you are used to an environment where things are on the up and up. I know Jamaica works, my friend. Exams and licensing is supposed to weed out unqualified people. That is what exam and licensing is supposed to be for. It is not to get as many people in as possible. It is to weed out people who should not be coaching. This is the reason why you have tests. So I'm going to watch, and if every coach is getting a license, something is wrong.
Well, no, Paul Evans is saying that coach who cannot read and write will fail the test and eventually weed out the system.
If every coach is getting a license, okay, let's engage in some deductive reasoning. Jamaica has a coaching problem. Jamaica has a management problem. Those people should not be able to pass the coaching exam. They should not be able to pass the coaching exam. And the poor coaches should not be able to pass the exam.
Well, no, they probably should go back to school and learn how to read if that's the case. I'm not saying they can't read people, I'm just saying.
Just like the coaches who are giving the players poor information should not be able to pass any exams. And we need just like in many public sector organizations, you have a policy called retired in the public interest. Many of these coaches and many of these footballing administrators in Jamaica should retire in the public interest and hand over the reins to young people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Well, we are in the US though, because Biden is president and Trump is not president. They both should be in the nursing home.
And that's exactly, and that's a big issue. You know, many of these people should retire in the public interest. You know what I mean? I am tired of hearing a local players who go overseas and they go back to Jamaica and they said they did not know that. They were never taught that. And you're like, what have you been taught then? You know, what have you been taught? Leon Bailey said, this coach in Aston Villa here has taught him a lot.
Yeah, but Bailey has coaches in Belgium. He had coaches in Germany. He had coach before Emery. So that, I mean, people said about it. No, coaches will teach you a lot who have different philosophies and different way of doing things. It doesn't mean that you weren't coached well before. A lot of the Arsenal players, Marino, who just came from Spain, Declan Rice, who played they all say that Arteta has taught them a lot, right? So I would use that as an example. What I would say is this, is that, as Paul Edwards is saying, so Paul is now being very rational, which he wasn't before about quote and discrimination. What he's saying is that it's a process. And he's saying that the exam is supposed to be practical and theory, so in written form. And then if coaches don't pass it, they should not be allowed, which Paul is just starting to make sense. And Paul has been on my channel quite a bit. It's the first day I've heard Paul making any sense, but keep going.
And I agree with that. I agree with that completely. And we have this Jamaican ego, and I keep on saying that it's not getting us anywhere. It's not getting us anywhere.
And by the way, when you beat Dixon, you beat Kranky too. So be careful with that too. When you beat Dixon, you beat Kranky. Kranky rate Dixon. Certain player me rate, because I see raw talent in them. Me rate Cephas, me rate Dixon, me rate King. I mean, not take that back. Me not take that back, people.
No. The issue with Jamaica is not raw talent. The issue is putting is turning the raw talent into finished product.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's the issue. Turning the raw talent into finished product. And that's where Jamaica struggles.
Yeah, and look, I think you've heard this from Rudolph a bunch of time about the gym, and you hear that from even Toxic Boss. They talk about the athleticism of Jamaican, even though a lot of them don't play football. People don't be confused. There's very few CFAs who play for the Jamaica football team. Because when we talk about athleticism, we're talking about quick, physical, strong. I don't see a ton of that in our teams. I see good players who are physical, but they don't have much more strength than a US player does, any other player does, from where I'm concerned. CFAs to me is a differentiator, different level of athleticism, which need to be nurtured and managed and guided and leveraged. And we can't seem to understand that. We all focus on he makes poor decisions. But I would take somebody who make poor decisions and try to teach him make good decision versus somebody who don't have the speed and the skill to actually execute. I believe that the brain can be taught to be better than it is, but certain athleticism you can't teach. I don't care how much you want to teach it.
I believe that the brain can be taught, but I also believe that the brain has a cap. Every human being has an average. I will never be as smart as Albert Einstein. I have a cap on how smart I am. I have a cap on the intensity of information that I can take in and process.
Well, no, do we really have a cap though, or because we may not been taught how to think? Do we really have a cap? Because cap to me, no. I think cap is sometimes used to denigrate Black people a lot of times and how we are and how we think. I think cap sometimes. Wait, listen what I'm saying. Listen to me. I think cap is sometimes used because people have been put in an environment to learn. I have some real life example which I look at and I smile about people and thought. I have real life example. When I come here and talk sometimes, people, it ain't because I just like to talk. I'm looking at my life experiences, people who I know, people who I've coached, people who I've mentored, people in my family, where they were, where they are today, what they went through, how they lived before. That informed my view of individuals. And I think this misconception that some people can learn is nonsense. If you have been taught how to think, I'll give you an example. I have a 12-year-old niece. If you talk to her, you think you're talking to a grown-up. Because you know what? She's been put in an environment where she's learning continuously, and she can challenge you on different things and things you only know she knows because she's been teach how to read from and interpret and write and assess from day one. So it becomes ingrained in her. There are other persons who I know who they haven't gone through that process. They're not going through it. And I also see their progress. So I'm not going to buy this notion that we can't learn and we can't think. If you have been taught how to play football, you go play the football field and score a goal. That's the concept I see in life about everything, Same thing in learning. If I've been taught how to think and how to assess and how to analyze, how am I going to execute it? I've been on the corner every day talking and drinking and talking the same nonsense. And I've been learning about different things in life, how to assess different situations. I struggle with that, I must admit.
Yeah, I didn't say people cannot learn. I'm saying that there's a cap, you know what I mean?
No, you're saying a cap because that's how people have been taught. I'm gonna give you an example, caller. This is an imperative and important. At one point, think about Warren Moon and Doug Williams. Doug Williams played for the Washington Redskins when they were Redskins, Commanders in the 80s. Warren Moon had to go to Canada to play quarterback. At one point, blacks weren't good enough to play quarterback in the US. Now the league is dominated by blacks. Now the game has changed and it's more athletic, but they weren't taught they could decipher a complex playbook enough to play quarterback. And now we're saying these are all black quarterbacks, and people are like, oh, what happened? Because certain people are protecting their domain, or certain people draw incorrect conclusions.
We have to be careful not to, because a person misuses a tool, that means we should not use a tool. You have people, the whole learning issue, you have people who have used it in a nefarious fashion over the centuries and historically. So, we cannot be prisoner to that and said, for example, take the VW. The VW was started by Hitler. That doesn't mean the VW there's no good in the VW. So what I mean?
No, you're saying the source of it may be poor, but the ultimate outcome may be good. You can get good out of evil. That's what you're saying, right? And not going to disagree with that. But the point I'm making is this: is that we draw certain inference and conclusion about people and about our race in general.
Yeah, but no,
which is not correct.
No, but right now we're talking about all black people. There are no other people involved. I am talking about black people against black people. Ethan Pinnock is a black person,
right?
And when Ethan Pinnock is very smart.
It doesn't mean Damian Lowe is not smart. Okay, use Damian example. Because every talk about Damian Lowe is not smart. Wait now. We all have different emotions. Damian Lowe is smart. But Damian Lowe doesn't make the best decision sometimes on the football field. Doesn't mean he's not a smart person. We're decipher between the football intellect, the intellect you exhibit in your normal day-to-day life, and also the personality, who I am as a person, my emotive behaviors. Because you know what? Sometimes our personality and who we are affects how we make decisions. Well, we may be smarter than the next person. And they may be more calm and composed and more laid back and assessing differently, while somebody may rush in to do things, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about solely what's on the field. I'm not talking about how people behave.
Okay.
After in real, because I don't know the players in their daily life. So I'm just talking about what they do on the field.
Right. Okay.
And when you watch player X versus player Y, and you see them in the same position, and you see the different decision making, it makes you wonder. And I mean, it makes you wonder. I mean, like it just makes you wonder. And when you guys talk about levels, the football is about levels. Does the levels includes the decision making of the players? When you compare a team in the Premier League, for example, versus a team in the Championship, aren't you comparing the decision making of the players in Team E versus the decision making of the players in Team A? Isn't that what we're trying to do? And I mean, it's not that the players are bad human beings, but if you look at a player and say, okay, this player makes better decision than that player overall. If it's an objective.
Yeah, but that goes for every team. We all make decisions based on different factors, right? You watch a football game, you watch Martinelli play, and it's how he learned the game. He looks down a lot, right? You watch Gray plays, and he's always glancing up and down because they're taught awareness different points in their career. So sometimes it's not even how smart you are, it's what you've been taught, and reflect on how you grew up and what you did. And you have all these learned behaviors you continue to exhibit, and it's hard to break you out of them. Sometimes exactly. It's not even, and that's to me, like people like Cephas, they've played football a certain way, they've been successful with it. It's hard to break out of it and do something different. And if they did, they probably not have the same skill set they have if they try to change.
Exactly, and that learned behavior is what we should try to impact at the early age. That get them at the early age and teach them the game properly at the early age, so that when the player when they are coming up through the ranks, they can match other players, you know, in the age group at the international level. You know,
Right.
a Jamaican player who is 15 years old should be able to match an English player or a Spanish player who is 15 years old, and so on and so forth.
I agree.
That's where the coaching will help. And what I find interesting is that Jamaica is not lacking in the coaching department. Jamaica is lacking in the looking at our Jamaicans as one department.
No. We're lacking the coaching department. We're lacking.
Because you have Jamaicans like Paul Hall who can coach.
Well, we don't know that though. We don't know that. I'm not gonna agree with that, Paul. I can't agree with that because we don't know if Paul Hall can coach. We've seen Paul Hall as part of Jamaica coaching contingent. We don't know if Paul Hall can coach. Paul hasn't had any big job outside of Jamaica to coach, so we can coach. I can't agree with that one. I would agree with you that the coaching universe of Jamaica needs to be expanded, but I don't know if Paul Hall can coach. I don't. And you can't tell me you do either, because we haven't really seen him coach at any level and seen performance and seen outcomes to then say he can coach. I know Klopp can coach. I know Arteta can coach, but not game manage. But I can't say he can coach.
But based on the list that we saw of him, the team did well in that short time span.
They did, really? They did? Wasn't he involved in World Cup qualifiers? I don't think we did well. Did we do really well?
The team was out of the running when he was brought in, right? The team was out of the running when he was brought in. So
yeah, man, saying by a Hitler car. In by a 25 VW Atlas highlight. In by a Hitler. See, people, I'm gonna make a point, Carl, before you go. I'm gonna say this, people.
Yeah.
Europeans forgive themselves real well. They don't forgive other people who are not like them with the same level of forgiveness or the same timeline for forgiveness. And perfect example is Germany, who created mayhem twice during 1 century, and they brought back into the fold. And if you have some other Middle East country have problem with them say them are terrorists and then ban them. That's all I have to say. And then squeeze them to the, and America does the same, squeeze the blood out of them. In life, people, I believe in fairness, and human beings are not fair as they should be.
I mean, human beings in general prefer their own, and they give leniency to their own. You know, I think Jamaicans don't do that because Jamaica has been bred to treat foreigners better than their own. You know,
yes, I agree. And by the way, people, I'm gonna do I shouldn't say this because I was gonna make it a surprise. People don't have to subscribe to you gotta subscribe to Balance View. Sorry, caller. People don't have to subscribe to Balance View. If you haven't done so, people subscribe to Balance View. I have like 4 topics I'm dying to talk about, but I'm not talking about them until I get 1,000 subscribers on Balance View. That means that may be until next year sometime.
The link where can I find a link to your channel?
I'm gonna drop it in this. I'm gonna drop it here. I'm gonna drop it here. You ain't gonna ask me again. I just dropped it. I just dropped the link. See, Balance View. People, please subscribe. It was 160. I got 6 subscribers. It's trickling. I got up to 166. It has to get to 1,000 people, and then I'm gonna drop some lyrics, not lyrics, literal lyrics, but I mean a bunch of different topics. I have like 4 topics lined up. I have done the research on the topics, but I say I'm not dropping them until I get my subscription to a good place. And I don't want to get steal. I don't want to get stolen. Everything gets stolen in life. Now they are not topics. They're topics that can test. They're like my topics are like Bob Marley songs, and can stand the test of time. I said that again.
Yes, I am gonna hang up now and go over there to subscribe.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the call. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, man. Thanks. People, I'm gonna close out. People, please subscribe to my Balance View channel, people, and tell others to subscribe. Tell the people who don't like sports to subscribe to Balance View. We have some nice people. Topics that are gonna affect, that are related to blacks in Jamaica specific, not Jamaica specific, but topics which are of Jamaica interest, Caribbean interest, black people interest. I hear you before the game, but people subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe to the channel. I have some nice topic we want to talk about, Some juicy topics, people. Some juicy topics. I heard a term today, and I can't remember what the term is. What's the new term this is really bad. It's a little bit morbid. But I was listening to somehow some YouTube took pop up on my thing today. Oh, so a person was made unlived. Is that what the term is? What the heck is that? I've made somebody unlived. That means, I assume that not making them unlived means they're no longer living. They died or somebody killed them or something. Is that a new term, people? Is that euphemism for killing people? Is that what it is? I've heard the person mentioned like 4 times in the video, people. And I was like, it was a 4th time they mentioned that. I understand what they were saying. When you're a little bit seasoned, you're not into the young terminology. Unalive. Okay, unalive. They're unalive. Right. Is this a new term for terminating people? Is that the new term? Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. I heard unalive. No, and I was like, unalive? What is unalive? Is that a new term? Wow. Unalive. So that's to get around what term? You mean on YouTube, for example? Unalive. Wow. So kids are smart. Who said they're not smart? You use euphemism to describe something tragic. Wow. Unalive. Okay. Wow. See, they're creative. Who said they have cap intelligence? There's no cap. Unalive. They put live in there too, so it makes it even more digestible and acceptable. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I didn't know that either. So maybe I learned something today. I heard unalive like 4 times. I'm like, it didn't register until the 4th time I heard it said unalive. I'm like, what is unalive? That's a new name? That's a lady's name or something? And then the person said it again, and I'm like, but they said it in the context of somebody being, no longer around. I'm like, but they were saying it, and I wasn't sure somebody not being around. And when they say it for the 4th time, I was like, oh, it must mean that. So I said, I got to come and ask you guys because, I'm a little bit dated. I don't get these things. And okay, interesting. You were talking about some YouTuber who's unalive, made unalive. And there's always some mix-up thing happening at some point. But anyway, all right, people. It's been a long night. I've been here about 2.5 hours. I appreciate you being here. Please hit the like button. And please, see, I didn't even put up Kranky Live for subscription, people. Because I've said to you before, I have to start pivoting. And I need my Balanced View channel to grow. Boss Thomas, I told you I came here to learn. And if you guys allow me to also try to teach, I didn't say teach, try to teach. I came here to learn, so I'm learning something. Unalive is a new term. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that term. I probably depends on facts and circumstances. If I'm trying to be much more passive and more diplomatic and more political, I may use that term. If I'm trying to be direct, maybe even a little bit, whatever you want to call it, I'll probably not use it. But I like the term actually. It's so much more digestible, I would call it. Much more tolerable. Much milder. Not as harsh. Not as cruel. Even though the outcome is still the same. But it's interesting. Unalive. Well, I'm alive, I think. After arguing Paul Edwards, I'm not sure if I'm alive or unalive. Paul Edwards beat to the death, telling me that quotas are not discrimination, and give me his own definition without actually taking the term and putting the context of what we're talking about. It's okay. I'm unalive. I am unalive. I like that, Chris Wright. That's brilliant. People, you see creativity, people. Hey, you can make a song out of this, people. You can make a song out of anything. I was listening to a song today, people. And it's a hit song. I don't know what the song name is because I don't know songs nowadays anyway. And I was listening saying, I must say Jamaica term, but them not say nothing. For the whole song, they talk a few words and they have some verse and the beat is good. I'm like, but them not say nothing. But I see him didn't repeat. I mean, I like the song and I'm bowing my head to the song and say, but them not really. Let me listen to the song because most of the time I'm listening to songs and people. I don't listen to songs. I listen to the beat. I hear what they're saying, but I don't hear what they're saying. But I'm like, I'm trying to listen to the words. I'm like, but they're not saying nothing. You just repeat this thing over and over again. But anyway, its beat was catchy. It sounded good. the words married to the beat, unlike mine, which sometimes don't marry, and it worked, right? So it sounds like simplicity can sometimes be effective and lucrative. He was deposited to the afterlife. Should I deposit? I withdraw. I'm gone enough. If you go to the earth, you go enough. I withdraw. Next, one second. Next week, Kranky. You are doing live right now. Yeah, me I do a live. You're right. The who catch it, bastard. The who catch it. So let me close off you by saying this. Please subscribe to Balance View. I gotta spend the next month working hard to get Balance View to 1,000 subscribers. Even if I buy some, because I have some juicy topic people. Juicy topic. But we no like, actually. I'm not gonna mention what they are, but no like the topic them. But I gotta get, even the ones who don't want you know about sports, no like them topic. Yeah. They are not clickbait topics. They are key topics that needs to be discussed, but they're topics that I don't know if some of you would like. So please hit the like button. Send to Shut Island. Isn't that sleep? You mean permanent Shut Island? Was it permanent Shut Eye? They don't open the item. You know, some people are unalived with their eyes open, you know. Right? Some people are unalive with their eyes open. I'm right on the word. I'm right on the word, people. Unalive, which means Kranky is no longer in existence. Unalive. I mean, I write it on for you people, so I'm staying now. Write these things down, because I don't forget. Unalived. Unalive. Unalive. This is the unalive. This is the Kranky Oxford Dictionary definition. Person has been terminated from their existence. In other words, I'm dead. That's what I put on. I put died here. Good. So I'm good to go, people. I'm good to go. I got a new term. So we can put on a new song. I mean, a new song will come out to now in a new year. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. Hit the like button. If you know people don't like sports, but they want to talk about things which affect their community, please give them the point them to Balance Views and have them hit the subscribe button. And now, man, I follow the young people. I will never be old people. I follow young people. I will never be old. I have niece and nephew around me. Can't old. I can't get to old. Can't go to old. They help me mentally every day. When I forgot something, they can tell me what it is. And they tell me all these new terms. They never tell me about unalive, though. We don't talk about that in my house anyway, so maybe that's why. But they teach me about different things. I listen to some music. And the one thing I said to them, though, I don't understand all this cursing in songs. I don't know why you have to curse to make a point. There's a song saying these something aren't loyal. I'm not going to say the word. And I said, why don't you say these girls are not loyal? Why we have to use some derogatory term for a woman? And they're talking about our people. Why we just can't say these girls are not loyal? Is it more impactful to use a derogatory term to describe a female? I don't get. I don't think that's necessary. I think the song would just be as effective to say these girls are not loyal. And we understand what that means. You ain't got to put them in some category which is derogatory and denigrate them. You don't. So it's all about the honest. If fools is the music you sing for, yeah. But I wouldn't call them fools. Some people just like the more harsh vocabulary, the more harsh words. It resonates more. It's more impactful. And they like to beat people sometimes. So, yeah. But anyway. I'm out, people. Have a wonderful night. I may be back this week, but I'm not sure yet because I'm working on some stuff. So we'll see. If I have any guests this week, I will do some sessions. But if not, I may not actually. Yeah, I may not actually. Because I'm working on some stuff which I'm very interested in. But I do need people. I do need to subscribe to Balance View. But it's not what they push to be popular. Yeah, well, you know what? We need to control our own music then. Because we normally don't control our music, you know. Other people push stuff, push the violent stuff in our community because it sells. So, yes, I was listening to Chris Brown. Yes, I was listening to Chris Brown. That's what I like. Chris Brown music, and he's gone some trial and tribulation. I didn't think he had to use that term though. I thought if he used a more, that at least for me, digestible term, he would have gained the next fan. But he probably doesn't care. He's rich already. But anyway, yeah, Jason, I don't disagree with you, Jason, and it's sad actually. That look, I'm not saying there isn't a place for everything in life, right? But then you gotta doesn't have to permeate your music. And now people say, well, Kranky, you guys are prude, you guys just want everything to be a certain way. Why we have words in the English language and dictionary, or we have words that we say that I don't disagree with that. I don't want to kill art. I'm trying to destroy art. Some of that is not art, it's just rude. That's all. It's not art. Art has its place, but it's just not art. You don't have to say, and some people just sing the same type of songs, same type of words as vulgar. I'm not saying you can't sing songs, you know, with that may not necessarily have the most tolerable vocabulary or tolerable words. I'm not saying that. I'm going to say everyone in your song doesn't have to be that way. Right? Doesn't be that way. But anyway, good night, people. Thanks for being here. Give me feedback on my background. I like it. It's up close and personal, and it's noisy, and it's uncensored. It's the Martin versus Malcolm thing. They really can be different, but they could be saying the same thing. Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying you have to be prude and pure all the time, you know. I'm saying you don't have to say every single song has to be the same thing. Help your audience grow. Help them develop. Part of your job. Educate, inform, and entertain. You ain't got to be always entertaining 24/7 with no message to your song. Bob Marley's songs, most of them were entertaining, but they also informative. And not Bob alone. Peter Tosh, Bob, a lot of them. Right? So anyway, good night, people. Thanks for being here. See you when I see you. Thanks, Paul Edwards. Paul Edwards coming. I'm bringing you around, Paul Edwards. I'm bringing you around. I'm bringing you around, Paul Edwards. Have a good night, Paul. Have a good night, everyone. Before the game, Jason, BM, Ted Dexter, everyone. Thanks for being here. See you when I see you. Good night. Bye. Kranky life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk and it's free, yo. Kranky life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Kranky life, tell them. Kranky life, heed them. Kranky life, want them. Kranky life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Kranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Kranky life, tell them. Kranky life, heed them. Kranky life, want them. Kranky life. Kranky life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Kranky life, get to know the name because Kranky analysis is never lame. Kranky life, give me my Kranky life. I want my Kranky life. Must have my Kranky life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Kranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Kranky life. Tell them, Kranky life. Heed them, Kranky life. Want them, Kranky life. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Kranky Live. Tune into Kranky Live. Like up Kranky Live. Subscribe to Kranky Live. Kranky Live coming to you on weekdays. Kranky Live sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Kranky will always bring the heat. Kranky Live. Me say fi tell them Kranky life. Me say fi heed them Kranky life. On them Kranky life. Kranky life will be around. Kranky life is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Kranky life. Kranky life. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Kranky life. Kranky life. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Kranky life. Kranky life. Kranky. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed, want,